kind of
know?
why are you calling me an asshole? There was an interview where you're talking to Sydney,
You were
exactly
nice
this.
to Amber. That bitch is an asshole to me. And ever since fucking cunt Amber, you've been a cunt to me ever since Amber Router. Amber fucking Router. The
I
process
didn't speak
over
to Amber.
a
I
man
didn't
who
speak
never
to
met in
Amber
real
for
life. You
years
never fuck a
now.
man in real life. She went psycho on me. Go fuck Amber, you fucking piece of shit cunt. I'm gonna pee on you and I'll pee on you, you fucking cunt.
It says
I'm not gonna be
PO,
nice
first of
to you.
all.
He cheated on his wife, period. He wasn't divorced.
So I'm just confused because there's an interview where you are talking to Sydney on YouTube, right? Which we can find,
Yeah,
and
go
you're
and play it.
and
I'm not gonna
and
respect you. We know he cheated.
and you are talking exactly the stuff I'm asking you now, and you are changing your mind.
Why did I
I'm just
change my
saying,
mind? I said that he was still married. He was
no.
still in the process of a divorce. You cunt. You fucking cunt. I will tell you off because I'm not afraid of you or anyone on here.
Why should you be afraid of me? Didn't
I
I?
don't need to be afraid of you. If I get banned from this server, I don't give a shit who I lose as a friend.
How can you be my friend when you're lying to me? Because this is the thing.
You're
What I
not
want
my
to
friend.
know.
What am I
No.
lying to you
So
about? Why you never caused an issue with Amber? You never caused an issue with Amber. You sided
I'm not.
with her and went against
I'm not
me.
talking to Amber since
No,
years.
no, yes,
Well,
you
how
bring
can
it
it
up
side
because
it
you
was
were a
here?
fucking asshole to me with Amber. You turned my back, two-faced backstabby, went behind my back and say all these shit about me. You weren't even my friend. I'm not your friend, and I don't like you, you fucking asshole. He cheated. Point blank, he wasn't divorced, which means that he cheated.
But it's a different angle. How are you telling it right now? So I'm just confused, right?
Well, I'm just telling you that he wasn't divorced. So because he wasn't divorced, then it means that he cheated. He was in the process of a divorce, but there was no divorce yet. So he cheated. And stop
But
siding with Amber. Everyone that sided with
how
Amber
can I
like
side?
you
How
is
I'm
not my
siding
friend,
with
and I
Amber?
don't
What
need a
has
friend like
Amber
you.
anything to do with this conversation?
It does, because you two-faced me. I have a beef with you. I'm never gonna let it go for years. I would never let my beef go with years because you betrayed me and sided with Amber the whole way through. You're
On
not
what?
my friend.
On what?
I don't like
On
you, and
what?
I'm not your friend.
I'm on what did I? What did you say? Beef with Amber? No, sided with Amber. On what? On what?
Yes,
On
you
what?
weren't even my friend. You just were with her. You sided with her. You were always with her, siding with her. So
On
I
what?
have a beef to bring up with you.
On what? On
I'm
what did I side with her?
Amber. And I hate you for siding with her. Look at me. I look horrible right now. Do you see me? I look so horrible. And
I
I'm
can
siding
see.
with you. Yeah, I know I look horrible. But you know what? You know what? I'm not your friend. I'm not, and look at me. I'm looking at you. I'm not interested to be your friend. I don't like you and I hate you. Because you went against me.
Where?
I came up. I got so mad that I came up to tell you off.
Where can I get? And I mean, you can see it like now. I'm going against you. By where came
You
up?
went against
Should I?
me. You never liked me.
Oh, you did some. Oh, I have some recordings where you are calling me a friend and how you love to talk to me and stuff.
Yes, I've been nice to you. I've always been nice to you, but you never been a friend to me. You always side with Amber. You always side with her.
Yeah, on what?
You side with her when she was going against me. You never defended me. You were always her friend.
On
If you want
what?
to bring issue with door stalking, I bring issues with Amber with you. What type of friend are
Oh,
you?
so
You never
you're
defended
dodging.
me. You
Okay,
never
okay.
were on my side.
So
You were
it's
friendly
a
to her.
dodging
You
tactic
liked her.
again.
You were her friend. You believe her lies. She fought me over a man. That's how sad it is. She got into a fight with me over a man she never met in real life. A man that I was dating in real life. A man that I had sex in
Was
real
it
life.
dog
Who's in the
stalking?
wrong? He's in the wrong. And stop siding with her.
I didn't spoke her like within 3 years or something, so I can
Good,
coincide with her.
good. Because you weren't my friend during that time. You were always with her. You were always siding with her.
Yeah, but I don't know, still don't know what it has to do with the stalking. So you
Well,
will
you
just
want to bring
bring.
issues with me about Darth? I bring issue with you about Amber. You, Amber, me, all three of us. I bring
But
it out.
it has anything to do with the stalking, right? You are just jumping to another conversation because you don't want to answer my
I
question,
did answer
right?
you. I said that with Gary, he wasn't officially
Because
divorced from
because
his
because
wife. He was he was involved with Epic, his mistress.
because in fact I'm feeling betrayed. Like you told us, or me, let's say me, I will leave Sydney out of it, right? That you have this inside information and you telling us this inside information because you know everybody in this room and or in these areas, right? And I kind of trust on that, right? And then I had in fact a conversation with Star Stalking, and he asked me, yeah, how do you know? And I was kind of afraid to tell me where I have it from because I didn't want to dox you, right? And then, like months later, I see an interview where you are talking to him and denying everything and jumping all around. So I'm wondering now, did you told us the truth? Or yeah, now you're saying, oh, I was just afraid to be banned. What?
You can't make me look bad because my reputation is very bad. But I want to let you know that you don't have a clean reputation, and he has a very bad reputation. His reputation is stained. Point blank is he was still a married man, and he was with Epic. While he was married, he was still with Epic. And he wasn't divorced yet. He was still married. So would I call that cheating? In he
And
was in the
no,
process
and
of a
how
divorce
I
or
will ask you
separation or
now,
Mhm.
how do you know that? Because this is just
Because I was
claims.
there during his divorce.
Because what?
I was there during his divorce
Where there?
when
You
he
mean
went through the
online?
divorce
You
with
mean
his
online?
wife.
You mean online, or you were a friend of his wife, or you were a friend of Das Docking? I don't understand this at all.
Okay,
When you
when
say
he was
I,
going, yeah, I was his friend on Pow Talk. I was with him when he was talking about his divorce and the process of his divorce and how he was
oh,
going through his divorce.
so it
And he was
doesn't
with
mean
Epic the whole time.
that you were his friend. You just mean what do you meant by that? You met him on Pel Talk. It doesn't mean that you were his friend, right? Because when you say to somebody, "Oh, I am his friend,"
I
means like
am his
you.
friend. I was his friend. He started putting every word in his mouth on me. He started putting every single words on his mouth, start coming it down on me. I couldn't even speak. I couldn't even talk in that conversation.
But if he would be your friend, why are you making like a show about it? That he said here like he doesn't even know you.
That's a lie. He does know me. And you know what? He went back to Power Talk and deleted all the logs on Evolution Falls, what's his name? And George, he used another name, George, and Evolution Falls, but especially his name, Evolution Falls. He deleted his account, deleted it all. Every log we had together, he went back there and deleted it. It's not there anymore.
Are you sure about that? But at least
Yes.
his, yeah. But how comes that the conversation with you, where he especially called you out on
Yeah,
this,
but he put
it's
words
still
in his
online.
mouth. Even Sydney pointed this out. He started putting words in his mouth. Why do you trust him? You know he's a horrible person and he lied. He made allegation about Sydney that which weren't even true. He made all these talks about me which weren't even true at all. He just put words in his mouth. He just add in the stories as much as he can. And when I was in that room, he had power. He had the power to kick me out, had the power to get me banned. They gave him a lot of power in there.
you are saying you just lied because you were afraid to be kicked out of the server? Is this what you're saying
I
to
get
me?
kicked, I got muted, I was silenced, I couldn't even say much because they gave him all the power in there and it was in his room. It was in his room. And they gave him power. Doobie gave him power, or the owner and the admins gave him power in there to mute, to
Yeah, of
silence. I
course. I
can't
mean,
even say anything. And then he started muting me. He started muting me as well. I couldn't even talk.
I would not agree to that because I've listened to this interview and you kind of says, "Yeah, I'm
But he
sorry.
mute me.
I'm
He had to
sorry."
mute me when I try to speak.
I mean, I've talked to Dar Stocking too, and
You don't talk to him. You know well he mutes you. He even got you banned.
he got me banned, but he didn't mute me when I was
But I got muted.
answered.
How am I supposed to speak when he muted me out?
No, the only thing what was unmuted that you said, "Oh, it's everything that is not true. I'm admitting that I've done wrong. I'm admitting that I'm lied." So this is the reason why I'm a little bit confused if you're telling us the truth or not.
I just explained you what happened with him.
So the funny stuff is that you weren't unmute, or you weren't mute, where you said, "I'm sorry, Dawes, it was a lie," but you're saying everything else when you try to talk that everything is true. Then in this particular case, you were muted.
He startled when I said epic. If you listen to it, he startled when he said epic. And he was so angry and mad at me. If he didn't cheat on her and if he did not being Gary, then he wouldn't be this upset and angry. And he startled. He startled when he said epic. You can even hear him being shocked and he started stuttering.
Maybe I've listened to a different interview because the whole stuff I've heard, and the funny stuff, it is not recorded by Dos Docking, it's recorded by Tom Rabbit, right? So the guy who doesn't need to like publish stuff because he is on Dos Docking's side, right? It doesn't sound like you were muting while answering him the truth and unmuted where you're telling, "Oh, I'm sorry, it was all a lie." You know, it's funny. This is how
If
it
you
hurt.
listen to him, when I said epic, he starter. He denies being Gary, okay? If I call him out as Gary, if he wasn't Gary, then why should he be upset at me? My allegation on him was he is Gary. Gary, the one that cheated with Epic on his wife. I call him out as Gary. I use his name Gary. And then if he wasn't Gary, then he wouldn't be screaming and yelling and so upset at me. And when I said epic, he startled. He was shocked. It put him in his place. He was shocked. You can hear him stuttering when I call her name out.
I don't care what he says. I'm just cares what you said, right? And this is what because at some point, like you are saying now that you're hating me all the time, right? And then somebody will tell me, "Oh, we are friends" and stuff, right? And so I don't know what I believe. It's like you are jumping all over the place.
I'm not jumping all over it, but I have been nice and polite to you. But then you like to cause trouble with me. You never liked me. And I know this. You have issues with me. You always have.
And these wishes were what?
I was being polite
according
and
to
nice
you?
to you and said, I try to be
What
your friend, but you never want to be my friend.
what are my issues with you?
You always never liked me. You never liked me ever since you met me, ever since you known me. Even when I attempted to be your friend, you never liked me at all. You always have something against
What
me.
yeah, and what do you think what were the reasons if this is
There
true?
were so many reasons.
What? There are so many reasons, did you say?
You had reasons, and then Amber came into the picture
What are the reasons?
because you believe Amber,
What has Amber with us talking to do?
and then you believe Doris Dawkins.
What? Yeah, but still, what has Amber
You
to
can't
do?
believe Doris Dawkins because you believe Doris Dawkins. You're going against me.
Oh, I never
Why
believe.
would you side with Doris
The
Dawkins
thing
when he
is
dislikes
the
you? He
thing
hates
is,
you. He's
I
not
ran
even your
into
friend. He doesn't
I
want to know you.
I ran into the conversation with Stars Docking, and I said some stuff which were based upon your stuff, which you told us, right? I At least I didn't mention your name at all, right? And I backed up from that. But in fact, I ran into it and said some stuff to him based on your um, yeah, based on what you said, right? And then I realized, oh, there must be something wrong.
It's not wrong because I wasn't the only one that said this. Others have said this as well.
Yeah, I never heard to others. I just so. Are you saying that you are just repeating stuff who others said, or
It's been
is
known. This
your
has been known on
I
Pal Talk.
or is your information 100% true?
Yes, it's about Epic and him, about him and Epic. It's about those two. But you talked to him years ago, maybe 3 years ago, maybe what, 3 to 4 years ago, and you're holding it against me?
I talked to him like maybe 2 years ago, or
2 years
maybe
ago. Then
less,
why you have to hold a grudge against me for 2 years? There's no
because
need to hold a grudge on me, hating me because of this.
no, because it makes me look bad
You
when
don't look bad. You never look bad.
Come on, Cyprus, you are changing like where the wind is going from, right?
I'm not
I mean,
changing. Why would you care about something that happened 2 years ago with Doris Dawkins? And
you're
then
saying
because
I'm an
when you live,
asshole. I was always against you, and now I'm holding grudge against you because something happened. But I will look always good. But like 20 seconds ago, you said I'm an asshole. Whatever you called me names and stuff, right?
I
So
know, but
Cyprus,
I'm saying about other people, not about me. I'm talking about other people. Why would you care what happened 2 years ago? There's no need to care what happened 2 years ago with Doris Dawkins because you look bad in front of people. They're not your friends. These people are
no,
not your
I look
friends.
bad. I look back according to myself because I was giving informations which weren't true, which I find out later they weren't true. So
They
this
is
is
true,
it's not
and
the
that
judgment
information you
because I
got was
don't
from
care about
Sydney
other people, but
Video.
I'm
They came from
very
Sydney Video, PO. They came from Sydney Video. What was posting on Sydney Video?
oh so now it's Sydney's fault.
No, it's not. It's your fault for confronting him, and he got very upset about this.
Yeah, I was confronting him because the stuff you told me. That was the reason why I was confronting him. And then I found out that it's not true. And you
Why
told
would you
her,
believe him?
no.
You can't
Be-
believe him.
I
He did
didn't
wrong
believe
to his
him.
wife.
I didn't believe him. I believed the stuff you said when you were talking to him. And suddenly I found, what's happening here? Right? Now you're telling me, oh, he's afraid of Ben from the server. What the
I want to tell
fuck?
you that that video does not count who I am. It's maybe, what is it, like 10 minutes long or 20 minutes long? I think it's 10 minutes long. I don't remember how long. How long was it? 10 minutes long or maybe 20 minutes long? It doesn't explain the whole story.
The whole story of what?
That one video doesn't explain the situation. That 10-minute video, the 10-minute video, I think it's 10 minutes or maybe 20 minutes. It doesn't explain the whole situation, the whole story, and you base one video judging on me from one video.
So you mean you like to? So no, the thing is still. That's why this is the reason why I'm completely confused. That you're on one side because I'm not doing it. Where I'm going somewhere and talk to people, I'm not changing my mind because I'm on this and this server. But it seems like you do, right? This is exactly what you told us right now.
Yes, I'm standing by it, but you're judging me based on
So
a video
how
that
can
you
I
watched.
trust anything you are saying? Maybe you're
Because
doing
I've
exactly
been
the
telling my
same.
story for years about him.
So you're telling stories for years and you're saying this, but then you came to, and then you changed your mind suddenly, right?
No,
So,
you're basing me on a video.
yeah, of course I do. Of course I do.
You can't, you dummy. It's only a 15 or 10 minutes video that you're basing me on. That is so BS.
BS
Just for
from
one
whom?
video, just for one
BS
video, and
from
you
whom?
believe that video when he put all those
Yeah,
words against
but
me.
but
Go
but it
ahead and
seems,
believe. I don't
but
need to please you. I'll stand by what I
oh
know of him.
no
He
no,
just
it's
put all these allegations on me. He just started dropping all these allegations on me. Just keep talking and talking and talking and talking and put all these allegations on me. And it was his room and it was his video. You can't even
so
talk.
you were suddenly afraid of him. I still don't understand. I don't understand it. Sorry. Because even if I'll be muted or silenced, whatever, right? And I talk to
Why?
Dastalking, and
Because
he is
I'm
not a
trying to
friend
pull
of
away
mine.
from all the
Dastalking is not
servers.
even Dastalking is not even friend of mine. He bans me from every server I'm in, and he's
Yes, he
in,
does.
and he when he looks, oh, there's Pio, I'll be kicked within 5 seconds, right? But the thing is, I'm not changing my mind. I'm not playing to his rules, right? And then I'm hearing you, who is, and I'm wondering why you are doing it, right? Why you're playing to his rules, or you're suddenly talking to him. I was wrong. It was a lie, right? This is where, because we know each other just from online, right? I don't know how I can trust you on that.
Then
Like,
don't trust me, and I don't need to trust you then. If you want to make a base on a video about this, based on a video, a what 15 20-minute videos to use against me
what
to have your reason not to like me, not to trust me, then that's your poor judgment. Then I don't need to
what is the
respect you
difference
from now
between?
on, and I will not give you respect.
Oh,
If you're going to be
uh,
hateful
I don't
towards
care
me
about it.
and hostile toward me, you're an enemy. You're a foe.
Yeah, so I'm your enemy because I'm asking you what the truth is, right?
I did
That's
tell
why
you the truth. You cheated. Many years I've stand by this.
yeah, but why did you stand? That's the funny stuff, right? This is what I understand, because maybe I'm a different person. I'm always standing by my word. I'm not changing my opinion when I'm going to this Discord or this Discord or this Hangouts, whatever. I'm still the same person, right? I'm not different. I'm not changing my mind. I have my opinion. People don't like it or they like it. I don't care. They kick me. I don't care. Right? But it seems like you just care about, oh, am I being kicked or not? Right? So I don't know. Therefore, it seems like to me, I cannot trust you at all, what you're saying.
And that's your problem. You can't trust me at all.
It's not a problem. I just showed you it's obvious that you're doing it. And the question is, how How can I trust
Then,
you?
I want to tell you that
What
you're basing me
will
on
be
a
your
video. You're
evidence?
basing me on a video. Then you're going around telling people about me. Then you're gonna tell people not to trust me, not to believe me. I have a video that you
I will
can
not
watch
go.
about
I will
me.
not go around and telling that. I'm asking you, right? We
You're
are
being
now
spiteful
talking.
towards me because you want to start shit with me because you have nothing else better to do in your
Oh,
life.
here we go. Here we go. Right? Yeah. Of course.
You're basing it on a video. So
I'm
what if there's a video of you? I never
I'm
judge you on a video that happened between you and Doris talking. I've never judged you on that video whatsoever. But when there's a video about Doris Dawkins and me, you judge me.
yeah, because the video about with me and Das talking is the same position I'm still holding, and your position is different, and this is why I can not know how to trust you,
But
right?
I never judge you. You have to keep an open mind.
You can judge me. That's no problem. And the judgment, the funny stuff, the judgment be all the same.
Okay, I'm
And
not going to come back in this server because it's unfair.
what do you mean it's unfair? We are discussing stuff. Are you afraid of it? Are
I'm
you
not
just
afraid. I didn't
no?
do anything to you.
Yeah.
Are you giving me a
I'm just
hard
trying.
time? I don't
Yeah,
care. I
yes,
just
of course I'm giving you a hard time. I've got
so
because
I'm
I feel
happy there.
betrayed. Because I feel betrayed. That's why I'm giving you a hard
That's
time.
your listen. It's just based on a video. Let it go and move on. I told you
No.
what happened. I said that if he is Gary, we agree that he's Gary. And then he got upset and angry at me because now everyone knows it's Gary. The thing is that I pointed out that he was Gary. He is Gary. So he's screaming, yelling, getting so mad and angry at me. And then that he cheated on his wife or he has this mistress that he wasn't divorced yet. And he was screaming and yelling at me in anger. And then he was startled and shocked when I called and said epic.
Okay. So what I promise you, I will like rewatch the interview.
You don't need to rewatch and base me
Oh
on the
no, I'm just
video.
curious because I cannot trust you. And now I will rewatch it if there is a thing where you're calling him that there was epic, right? If he choked about that.
Yeah,
And
he showed
if
that's the word. Yes,
this
yes, yes.
and
I
if this is true, then I will starting to trust you once again. But before that, I can just not can do it. I feel like betrayed.
and I did mention Gary the whole time. If he
I
wasn't
mean,
Gary, then he shouldn't be this upset at me.
everybody knew before that he was Gary. It's not like you are the first one who told him that he is Gary.
No, no, no. I came out and said about Gary. I've been saying Gary for a long time before everybody that came after him.
In this
With
video, or you mean in the whole? Because there are like millions of people who calls him Gary before you even talk to him. Before he called you out on that.
I knew he was Gary before you and before many people. I knew he was Gary.
But
I
this
think it was
was
the
not the
second
claim.
person. I think me and me were like the second people that knew about him being Gary.
Hmm.
And then I've been calling him Gary ever since. So if he wasn't Gary, then he is Gary because he's very angry and upset. Because I called him out for being Gary, Gary was having this woman named Epic when he was still married and going through a divorce.
So can you tell me once again was how your relation was with Epic? Did you was it another person you just met on Pal Talk and you heard something?
No, I
Right.
mean we had a very good relationship. Me and Epic had a very good relationship.
But you were just on Pal Talk. You didn't know her in person, right?
Yeah, we were very good friends on Pow Talk. We were, yeah, very good friends.
And she told you that she was the girlfriend of Gary.
Yeah, they both did. They were together. They were together the time I was with them, just three of us.
Were they together on Pal Talk or in real life?
They were together on Pow Talk and in real
Oh,
life.
and in real
She
life.
went out to meet him in real life. She went to meet him in real life.
So I mean, like they met and fucked and whatever, or went for a diner or whatever, right? This is what you mean.
Yes, yes, from what I remember.
What you remember? Yeah, that's a very vague
No,
stuff.
this is what I know, and I stand by this about Epic and him.
So is it what you know, or is it don't? It just as I can remember, right? Because it's very important.
No, I was there. Okay, I said I was there. This is what
You were
happened.
there. You were there when they met, or you were there
I
when
was
they
there
talked
when
on
they met. I
Peltalk?
was there when they dated. I was there when he went through his divorce.
Why should they invite you to a date
They
when
were
they?
together. Him and her were together.
No,
And
no.
back then we
You
just
said
hang out together. There was like three of us. There was a small group, just me, him, and
on
maybe
Peltalk on
a
real
man
on
named,
real life on Peltalk on or on
yeah,
real
on
life.
Power Talk. We were always
Oh,
together. Her,
okay.
him,
Blah
and
blah
yeah.
blah. So that's Peltalk. That's internet stuff, right?
And they talk
Doesn't mean
about their
anything.
relationship.
That doesn't mean anything, right?
They talk about their dating, their relationship.
So just imagine that I'm on a Dan server, right? There are two people who are in love with each other, and every time I come in, so I'm saying how my lovebirds doing together. Does it mean that I'm there when they meet? No, I'm not. I'm just there when they met on Discord. So I
No, they were
don't
dating
see
in
it.
real life when they were together.
So this is what I've asked you. Were you there on Pell Talk, or
I
were
was
you
there on
there?
Power Talk when they were
Yeah, it doesn't.
together.
So it doesn't have to mean anything, right? They could just pretend. They could play a game to you.
No, it was just only three of us most of the time, just three of us hanging out together. And he was going through a divorce, and his wife divorced him. But I think there's so many factors why his wife divorced him, because he spent so much time on Pow Talk on the internet fighting with atheists. You got to remember that. And he was very abusive towards the wife too. And then he had Epic on top of that.
So there was no time where you witness that he has a physical relationship with her. It was just on Pell Talk, right?
No, I was there with her when she was packing her stuff to go and see him in real life. She was letting me know what was going on, that she was going to go and see him now.
Are you sure about that?
Yes. If you
Interesting.
don't believe me, you can just try to find her on Power Talk if she's still there. Her name's Epic by Design.
I mean, it will be interesting to do it, but I have no
Well, she's
intentions.
always on Power Talk if you want to talk to her about her relations and her involvement with Gary.
There should be like a whole channel then, like epic, blah blah blah. My relation with Gary Mile, right?
Yeah. She's on Power
Okay.
Talk. I gotta find where her screen name is to give it to you.
Yeah. Because nevertheless, I have to go to piss. I have to leave for 2 minutes. So
Well,
yeah.
pardon me for calling you dummy. Pardon me for calling you dummy. But I've been hurt with the whole Amber situation.
What has Amber anything to do with it? I don't understand. And
Because
Amber
you
hates me.
turned you against me.
Oh, Amber hates me too. So I don't know if you were realizing the situation. Nevertheless, I have to go to piss. So I'll be back in 2 minutes.
Wait, Amber hates you too? What I thought you two were friends the whole time. Well, pardon me for calling you dummy.
Well, he did say that Amber hated him. Well, yeah. I knew that Amber hates everybody.
No, Amber hates me and you the most. And Sia, she hates us three the most.
And Pio hates her. So the hate, there's hate flowing all around. But I was wondering if you guys just wanted to stop talking about the tension between you and join forces in our common goal of promoting and normalizing atheism. Just saying.
Yeah, of course. That's what I've been doing in the politics servers is trying
Ah,
to push.
beautiful. Tell us about that.
Because you know that, okay, I have to agree that P. Mars has always trolled us. He's always like to expose us, get us banned. You know, he's against us. You know,
Oh no, he's
and
still doing that today.
because you know what? Because of Amber. Because of Amber. That's the Amber's friend. He's friends with Joshua. He's friends with Amber.
But
He's
Amber's
friends
not
with
even
Sasha.
around
They're all
anymore.
friends.
She's not even around anymore. She doesn't. I haven't seen Amber
Yeah,
since
she's
she ran
gone
away
for
years
good. She's
ago.
gone. Yeah, good riddance of her. But we need to join force and take down P. Mars and his Christian's faith. His
Yeah, yeah. What's your plan?
Do you know
What's your
that
plan, Zaz?
he always hated us? He hates atheists. He always went against you,
Yes, he
me,
does.
and he hated Thea too. He always hated us all these years. He's always exposing us, getting us banned, getting us kicked out, banned. And he sided with who? Sasha, Amber, and Joshua. Sasha, Amber, and Joshua. And Joshua is very religious. He's like very religious. Amber's religious too. You know her beliefs, her God belief, and he's very religious. P. Mars is very, God belief. We're very into God and Jesus. See, I see him exposing. See him. Look. He's always trolling us. He's like always against us. P. Mars.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean that he's religious. He's just a moron zealot.
Yeah, he is a zealot. Zealot. You're right. He's zealot. Religious fanatic.
Yeah.
He's all about
Okay.
God.
The
He's
thing about
unshakable
religion,
about
the thing
God.
about Christians and their religious fanaticism.
Christian,
That
unshakable Christian faith.
tell me, tell me,
Fanatic.
tell me, tell me, tell me
Yeah,
about that.
sellers. That's the word sellers. You're right.
Have you ever
Well, I'll
been?
be back in your server. I'll be back in your server. I just don't want to fight with Pio. Or Pio fight with
Nobody
me.
wants to
Hello there,
fight with
Stefan.
anybody, but I think Pio did ask you a question which upset you, but he stepped away to get a piss and have a beer or whatever, so he must obviously be satisfied with the answers that you gave him. I hope he is. But
Well, I'm gonna go
I don't want you to be
into
upset.
politics
Oh,
to
okay,
promote
okay.
atheism.
Fantastic.
I want you back in here.
I am in here. What are you talking about?
No, politics server. That's where we need to push. I mean, I go in there to try to push the atheist agenda.
Well, why don't you push it from here?
Yeah, that's a good point. But P. Morrison in there, with his Christian belief and
Yeah, but
fanatic of
who needs Christian
Christianity, I'm an
belief? We've
atheist. I
heard.
got to like push atheism on him. Try to
Uh,
convert him now.
I know, but we've heard about Christian belief so for fucking years and years and years. Why would we want to hear it some more? It's time. It's time to counter the Christian beliefs, and it's all well and good to laugh at them because they honestly are very well are very funny. They are but in a kind of a bizarre way. They're funny. You can mock them, but when you look at the history of the actions of what we're mocking, it's pretty horrific and genocidal. Um, I don't know what else to. I don't know how else I can convey the horrors that Christianity has perpetrated on humanity throughout history, up until up until now, really. But certainly in the Second World War, they were 100% on the Nazi side, and they were 100% on exterminating the Jews, whatever it took to save their little church. Well, kidding about the little, of course. Skeptic, welcome.
Hey,
Oh,
man.
welcome.
What's up? How's your day been? You must have had a busy day today.
Me?
Yeah.
No, man. I was sitting on the porch drinking beer.
You went out,
And
drank beer today?
I've been sitting on my porch.
On your porch drinking beer?
Yeah, just in the shade,
Oh, all right.
talking to people
Nice.
on the phone. Yeah, a pretty day.
Nice.
Stitch about to start. Get on the tractor, cutting some grass. Yeah, I have to go about things a different way. You know,
Uh-huh.
I'm not due to my circumstances. Huh? I don't know. I don't think so. Yeah, I was talking to Jesse, but I have to rely on so many Christians to help me that I have to be. I talk about I do things the other way. I post stuff like on Facebook. I post a lot of stuff about dinosaurs and geology and the cosmos, and I'll post negative stuff about other religions. And if they are smart enough to think about it, they're bound to realize it. Just like I did, that their belief is just another belief amongst thousands of other beliefs. You know,
Yep.
Wow, thank you, thank you. Hey, Brett Keane messaged me. He said, tell Sid that Matt Powell proved Hitler was an atheist. This is from the famous Brett Keane. Oh, you
Ricky.
need to get him on here. He's
No.
famous. And thank you for sharing this,
Well,
Tom.
he's
That was
welcome. He's
interesting.
welcome to join, but he's hilarious. Brett
Wait,
Keane.
what? He is a Christian?
No, he's hilarious. I said he's funny.
Is he a Christian?
Brett Keane, I doubt it.
I thought he was with J Dubs, right? Or
He's way
aren't they
too
buddy buddy?
he's way too free thinking and comical and funny to be a Christian.
Oh, okay.
That's my take on it. He has a very, he doesn't stick to one thing, and he makes jokes, and he's like chill. And chill people just aren't Christian. There's just something that doesn't sit right with Brett Keane being identified as a Christian. I can't see it.
He's very well known.
oh,
Wait, are
what
you live at the moment,
yeah,
Sydney? Are you live?
he's well known to you and
Mhm.
people like in our like small circle of people, but on the whole of humanity, or even just the country, how well known is he? Probably not well known very much at all.
Well, he's probably, say, 10 times as well known as I am.
Oh,
Or 100
okay,
times as
that's
well known as I am.
or me either, but uh, all the same, it's still fucking.
Makes me look even more puny, skeptic.
Um, we are pissants, peons. in the big scheme said. Huh, you know it. But we got to have fun while we're here doing something.
I'm having fun doing this, by the way, just in case.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's
Popping
why,
my
of
beer.
course. I if you wasn't enjoying it.
Well, now
Too bad.
the statement is out there. You know, my axiom. No, it's not even it's not an axiom. Sorry, I'm making a statement. All gods are imaginary. No, I'm making a grammatically correct statement. All gods are imagined.
Yeah,
And
there you go.
yeah, and I welcome anyone to come in, and I'll sit back and listen while you prove me wrong.
Oh, are you streaming?
I am.
Oh shit.
Oh yeah, yeah. Put your pants on.
Yeah.
But so I got a message from Rebuke and Reprove uh, as a comment, and he says that I only have atheists on my show. I don't even let Christians come on my show. Well, this is obviously inaccurate because I've just invited anyone who wants to come and prove me wrong with about my statement that all gods are imagined is welcome. So, Rebuke and Reprove, you have been proven to be a liar. Again. Yes, that's Madame Jill. That's right. She can come on anytime, Miss Jill, and she can come and I'll prove to her that she can be on my show anytime she likes. And I do allow Christians. In fact, if I allow Jill, then not only am I allowing Christians, but I'm allowing Christians who are gender frustrated. Are you all?
Gender frustrated.
Yes.
What the hell does that mean?
Well, Jill has a deep voice with a female name, so I empathize with her, and I identify with her as being a female. That's what I mean.
Are
Is
you
Jill a
saying
female name?
What? Is Jill a
Is Jill a
female?
female name?
Jack and Jill.
never saw
What
the
does that
movie?
mean? I don't know
Ske-
what that means.
Well,
no, skeptic.
Jack and Jill.
You never saw the movie Jack and Jill?
No, I've heard the Andrew Dice Clay joke.
well, yes. Okay. Well, I'll. Okay, I shouldn't have said Jack and Jill because you're right. That is from that. I meant, and I'm going to erase every reference to Jack and Jill off the internet. I'll stay up late into the wee hours of the morning to do that, to accomplish that. But I'm going to amend my Jack and Jill to Janet and John.
No, I'm not a biologist. I don't know what you're talking about. You'll have to get it with a biologist. Talk about that.
Okay, well, Jill, in Janet and John, there are specifically, we are taught that Janet is a girl's name and John is a boy's name. Just like we taught that Jack is a boy's name and Jill is a girl's name. So if somebody comes onto my show using Jill as her first name, then I accept that and I comply with her need her need to be respected and to be treated in the identity or that she presents. So Jill,
That's
huh?
that's a patronizing attitude, Sid.
How's it patronizing? Listen. Jill said she doesn't she sees that only atheists are allowed on my channel, and I never have any Christians. And the reason that he says that is because I never have any Christians to refute me. You know, he says that if I let Christians on here, they'll refute me. Well, I'm posing the challenge. Prove me wrong. Come on in, Christians. You know, Jill, you can come in too.
And you'll be welcome, and we'll be nice to you.
Of course, this is not your Christian hangout. You know how everybody has you know, if I mention a word like chair, everybody has a vision of a chair in their mind, which is obviously different from everybody else's vision of a chair.
Yeah, I have a vision of share.
There you go. But whatever it is, everybody has a different vision.
Brett, Janet, Dr. Scott. Oh, another vision. Right.
Oh, I remember that one.
Yeah.
That was
One of the
from Rocky Horror.
yes. That's funny stuff, right? When
Yeah,
the movie came out, nobody complained about transgender or
it was hilarious. Oh man,
it
I've
was
watched that
great.
movie. I've
Yeah.
watched that movie. I can't tell you how many times. Probably the one I've watched the most, and also because the music was so good.
Yes. I've been also in the theaters watching that.
Of course,
Even
you know,
not
throwing the whatever gets
rice
thrown, the rice
and
whatever.
water
Yeah.
pistol, right? And toilet paper, whatever, right?
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was great.
Shit, man.
But when it came out, if you remember it, because it's an old movie, I think,
I saw it
from
in
the
South
80s.
Africa. I saw it in South Africa for the first time. So bear in
Right.
mind that I lived in a police state run by the Dutch Reformed Church.
And you still had the movie?
It was censored. No, it was censored.
What?
It was censored. There were certain parts cut out.
Uh,
Mostly to do with nudity. If there was nudity in any way, forget it. Out. Cut, 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 cut. Or if there's anything political, out. Cut, 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 cut. So every movie went through a censorship board. But the ones I really liked and the censorship board didn't really bother me about it was the like James Bond, Man from U.N.C.L.E., you know, all those sort of hero kind of movies. I
yeah.
love those, man. So if the censors cut out anything, they certainly wouldn't have cut out any action from a James Bond movie. And because I love that whole James Bond sort of superhero, you will never go wrong, always will win, a personality, I never, I didn't miss anything else. I was too young to miss anything else.
Yeah.
You know, like all the sexy time that James Bond had, that went right over my head. And if they cut any of it, I wouldn't have known. Because I was too young, man.
Yeah.
So Zaz disappeared.
Yeah. I hope, I don't know since when you're streaming, but the whole conversation before I went to piss.
For about almost an hour.
Okay. So
I mean,
it was great. I tried to corner her, right?
Well, you tried.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're trying to corner her with exactly.
Just if she's telling the truth or not.
Well,
And of course, I recorded it too, right? So
yeah, but we never really established anything definitive like in terms of a straight direct answer to a very simple question. We saw
right,
no results, in my opinion.
exactly. But it was still funny because, after all, she's claiming still that Darth betrayed his wife,
Well, yeah,
even if
but
it
that's not.
wasn't true.
Yeah, but that's not even the issue. That so what? Yeah, okay, I agree. That he betrayed his wife. We all agree he betrayed his wife. But what I think you were saying was that you, Zez, said that you were physically part of of his
Yeah,
life,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. And she
Somehow.
wasn't. And she wasn't.
Yeah, and we never really got a definitive answer, but she might have been nervous because she was on, the famous Sydney Winston channel. Yeah, I can
I,
understand that.
I don't know if she realized that we were streaming or something. I don't know about that.
Well, this is a streaming voice channel, so
Yes, yes.
it's not that it's
She should have known, right?
everybody. Well, I mean,
Everybody
it's not.
knows.
We didn't reveal uh any new information. I don't believe anyway. Did we?
I have to review it, right?
Yeah.
That's why I recorded it.
Did I screw up? I don't think so.
Oh, you didn't. You didn't even take part in the conversation.
No, I made very sure to keep my big mouth shut. Yes, I did.
So thank you for that. That you left me the place to play.
Oh no, it's exactly. Oh, no problem, man. It was worth the whole stream was worth it just for that. But I still like Zez very much.
Oh, don't jump around. Yeah, of course we love. Oh, no. Let's take that. We all love her.
We do,
For
yeah.
for the lies she is telling us.
No, yeah, we love her for her, just for her bubbly personality. And oh, there we go.
Yeah, you want to her just to come back. That's why you're nice to her. Yeah.
Well, I've spent time talking with her.
Of course, I did too.
1-to-1.
That's
and so
that,
you
yeah.
do, yeah. Okay.
That's exactly the point, right? I spend a lot of time to talk to her on 1-to-1 too, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then she was telling me like stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like she was there. She was like right there. And now it seems like she wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly my problem, right?
Well, I understand that, yeah. So we got the chat going. It was anyway up until about 2 minutes ago. Okay, so I'm going to go and just mention everybody in the chat that I can see. We have Lucky Seven Wolfen. We have the Common Sense Guy. Oh, we had them anyway. There's T-Chip. Hello.
There was also a Christian.
That was T-Chip.
Okay. That's right.
Yeah, he left because he was... Oh, I don't know why he left. Interpol dancer. This crazy bitch still spreading BS. And Bill Pazdu, I can't believe he's not even in this room. He's out there in La La Land. Amber and P. Mars. Atheist haters, he says. Bannings and Joshua and Sasha. Joshua, Sasha. Who's Joshua? Oh, Joshua. Oh, there's so many Joshua. Sasha we know.
Yeah, Sasha we know.
And Lucian Corvinus, son of Hecate. Zealot implies fanatic of a religion or cultist, so he is religious, spiritual, different matter. No, Lucian, let me tell you something. There's the Roman Catholic cult, there's the Protestant cult, there's the Jewish cult, and there's the Muslim cult. So they're all cultists. So you're getting everything all mixed up. Okay? Sorry to tell you that. God TV Radio, Brett Keane. He suggests that we're pushing an atheist agenda, PO. Skeptic?
We are not pushing, we're just telling, right?
No,
And you, at least we are an atheist show, so how can we not push that?
well,
right?
what's an atheist agenda? Agenda to
agenda
to show
right.
science is not something that you believe in. It's something that you actually make sure that the data that you are getting is highly accurate. You don't just receive it like you receive your salvation
Revelations.
or whatever. Yeah. I honestly don't think that Christians get that. They honestly have been indoctrinated to equate religion and science, and just because you have to have faith in your religion and you have to believe by faith, well, science is just the same way. This is a cardinal error on the side of the Christian.
Actually, the way things are going politically now,
Yeah.
science, they're changing science to meet their own social agenda,
Oh, hold on.
which is which is weird.
I'll maybe this explains. Lucian Corvinus, son of Hecate. He says, she or he says, they say, are the atheists have an agenda because last I heard they lose
lose what?
conglomeration of people that basically believe one question to be the same overall. Anybody have anything to say about that?
I don't know what he means.
I don't know either. All right, let's move on.
Because
Yeah,
because
they're
be-
making
because the Christians will claim, oh, our religion is growing the fastest, and the Muslims say, oh, we are fucking rabbits. That's why our religion is growing the fastest, right? But if
Yeah,
you
but they're all
look,
cults. They all. I just said,
yeah,
listening to me. If you don't agree with me that that the Catholic cult, the Protestant cult, the Jewish cult, the Muslim cult are cults, then you shouldn't then continue referring to them as religions. But I refer to them as all as cults. They certainly seem to me like blind faith, following like zombies.
Oh, Cafe just says atheists don't grasp divine revelations. So maybe you should, Cafe. Maybe you should change to my invented religion, and the revelation will blow you out your mind. It's the last comment. Yeah.
Well, we might get.
Cafe, why just join the stream?
Come
Do
on,
be very
guys.
interesting.
Yeah, I got the screen on the screen. The chat screen. I got the chat screen on the YouTube screen. Atheists don't grasp divine revelation.
Don't forget
That's stupid. That's
atheism.
Hold
But
on.
yeah, it's just the theists
Well,
are comparing their bullshit
just like
to
I said,
science.
blind faith in science. You see, blind faith in what is scientism? What the fuck is that?
Yeah.
Anyway, but let's address Cafe's first statement. Atheists don't grasp divine revelation. Well, okay, well that is a truth statement. Actually, it's not a true statement because we do grasp divine revelation as a concept. but we don't
We grasp
grasp.
as this bullshit. We
We
grasp
don't.
it as a
No,
yeah.
we
We grasp
grasp
it
it as
really.
we do grasp it as a concept, but we don't grasp it as reality. You know what I mean? It's simple. It's simple BS for coffee shop philosophy. That's all it is.
Yeah.
And that's what E.A. Dawe is. You know that Justin Downing, he's a coffee shop philosopher, and he thinks that he can prove his undeniable God that way, and he fails. Did I mention that he fails?
Can you say it once again because I don't remember?
I'll tell you what. I'll say it backwards.
Yeah. He fails he. Oh, I should.
Are you crossing out every second one? He fails. He doesn't fail. He fails. He doesn't fail. It's funny.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
how many petals in one of those flowers where you pull them out and you say, she loves me not, she loves me. How many petals are there? The odd number or even number? So and do you get the same, or do you get a different result either time? And there's only two choices.
No, there's only one choice because they are always even, huh?
Ah, so yeah, you'd think they have to be, right?
Yeah, because the result is always she loves me.
Right. So that whole thing about, oh, let's let the gods decide by pulling off the leaves one by one and calling one she loves me, one she loves me not. That is believed by many people. In fact, up
Yeah.
until just a few seconds ago, I believed it myself. But now
And
you've explained to me biologically how it's impossible.
no. The thing is, and this is what comes out when you turn off the leaves, but the reality is different.
Well, just start off with the other. Just start off with the she loves me not, and then then you'll be really disappointed. But if she's not the right woman for you, pretend she loves me not. Start off with that presupposition. No, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. So you
if
think
you go first, tic-tac-toe, the worst you should be able to do is get a draw. No, you get every time a draw, Bill Pasado. If you know the game, you will get every time a draw. Right.
if you get first oh, all right, yeah. I don't think I've played tic-tac-toe in.
You know where you have the squares and you put like a.
I know what it is. I just don't think I've
and
played it
X.
in my adult years.
Yeah, but the thing is, you know how the game works after 5 minutes, and then
Exactly,
you
it
have
gets
always.
boring. It's like goodbye.
Yeah,
Next.
no, but you have always a draw, so nobody can win. That's the point of it.
The point is to never get a winner.
No, people are believing that you can win that, but if
Well,
you're
you can
playing
win
it,
if the person on the other side makes a mistake. You can win.
not if he's played it for 5 minutes, because now you will know how it works.
I know,
So
but you can still make a mistake by being distracted.
It should be a real big distraction.
Of course, your coffee spills on your crotch or on your heater or whatever, right?
Right.
I'm saying that because I
have
coffee. I have coffee and a crotch and a heater, in that order, from top to bottom. And I was just using that as an analogy were that particular emergency to occur. So it looks like neither Brett Keane nor who was that other guy? Brett Keane isn't coming. Oh, nor Jill, she's not coming in. And neither is Cafe. All three have made disastrous claims.
Oh, Cafe says He tried to join Discord, but channel was locked. Come on, are you kidding me?
Bullshit. There were people
Yeah.
joining all the time. I didn't even go have a look. I don't want to go have a look now, but maybe he probably did join and channel was locked. My channel's not locked. Nothing's locked. So if any other Christian besides Cafe wants to come in and prove,
Maybe just his God didn't allow him to come in.
no, he just doesn't know how to use technology.
Yeah, right. Because if you're just using your browser, you'll be in. And if you have already installed Discord, you'll just put a link there. Or even you can, if you are on Discord, just search for all gods are imaginary, and then imagined. I'm sorry, and
Yeah,
then
I
you'll
changed
be
it
there.
to. So I got into trouble. I'll tell you the whole story here. I got into
Let me.
trouble. I invited somebody into my Discord server who used to be part of the Hangout sort of group, Hangout, the Google Hangouts community. And as by way of response, I got a snub, a slap in the face, and a massive kick in the balls from this person who happens to be a writer by profession. And he told me how stupid the whole concept was, and also he's also an atheist, and how really not interested uninterested he is in joining this ridiculous server, especially considering there's a grammatical error. so I went back to my all gods are imaginary, and I thought, I bet you there's an error there somewhere. And then I thought about it. Imagine if gods are imaginary. And then I started playing around. What if gods are imagined? That's honestly the first one that came into my head. Then that has to be grammatically more correct than gods are imaginary. Because I can't explain imaginary. I can't explain my statement, all gods are imaginary, but I think all gods are imagined speaks for itself. End of rant. I said end of rant. The floor is open.
Wait a moment.
Come on, Cafe. Just click on the link on the top. Everybody. Oh, maybe I'll give you a better link. I'll give the whole room a better link.
Yeah, but I tried a link on top and it worked.
I'm just going to replace it with whatever this one is. Okay, this is different. I'll replace it.
I posted already.
Where?
Okay. Yeah. Go.
I'm just going to replace it at the top, whatever, because it's different. There we go. Maybe
So maybe Cafe tried the link, but it's the same like on top.
it's different to the one I posted earlier, so maybe that's the one he was having a problem with.
No, it's GG. No, it's the same.
Same one
It's
that you crew. All right.
No, it's the same like it is on top.
I just put it on top. If you scroll up to the very top,
Oh, it says a pinpoint from or a pennant from Sidney Winston.
right.
And there is the link.
Right. I've replaced the previous one. There we go.
Bill says I never heard
Jason
it.
Torn. Is Jason Torn a Christian or a rational thinker? I can grasp the meaning of divine revelation. All right, the science ultimatum with Jason Torn. That's
Oh, Cafe is there, but he is on 2 and 2 versus 2 discussion. Can you hold?
I can
Can you bring
up.
him?
Sure.
Yeah.
No, he's deafened.
No, he's here, but he's deafened. He deafened
Jason,
himself.
thank you, Jason, or the science ultimatum for. I will make sure that you are represented as an atheist. If you join my channel. You are deafened. Oh, you know why he's deafened? Because
Yeah.
he doesn't have he doesn't have the row.
Yeah. So wait, Cafe. We're just working on it.
All
When you
right.
can tell.
We should be able to talk now.
No, he's still deafened.
Oh shit, he is deafened. There we go. Now he's done. Okay, there you
go. He's still deafened.
No, he's deafened, but he can undeafen himself.
Okay. So Cafe, just undeafen and unmute yourself, and then we have a nice talk.
Mm-hmm. Cafe.
We're waiting.
We'll just wait. I'll just adjust the windows to look sort of better. Let me see. Let me see. There we
go. If you're yeah, so as you can see, as the audience can see, Cafe is with us, but he muted and deafened himself. So this is the reason why we cannot talk to him.
No, he didn't deafen himself. He was deafened, but I undeafened him. Everybody who comes in new that I don't know comes in deafened, which is kind of dumb, but they should come in muted. But anyway, I'll change that. But at this point, it's deafened. But he's unmuted, undeafened, and
so on my side, he's still deafened and mute.
Yes, but he just hasn't undeafened yet. It also says his camera's on, but I don't see any camera. Well, that's because he's deafened. So his camera's on and he's deafened, which means we don't see his camera. So I'll just have to give a message. Guess that. What sounds very spooky?
Oh, he left, or
What?
He left.
He didn't leave. He tripped and fell out. So he'll be back. It's just kind of suspenseful. You're not knowing what's going to happen next. It's exciting. Should have some one of those, dramatic music. But I think not.
Da, 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 da.
See, Skeptics also deafened himself. Okay, we can assume that he's not coming back. Who was the other Christian in the chat?
T something.
Oh, he left long ago.
Teacher.
I don't think there's any Christians in the chat. Oh.
Oh, but Cafe is in the side chat again.
Okay, well, Jason Torn, Science Ultimatum with Jason Torn. If you can definitionally understand divine revelation, could you please share that with us? It's better if you join and have a chat than if you type it in there, because the room is open for a reason.
Divine. I thought
Divine.
that was like isn't that like a big fat uh transvestite guy? Divine.
Yeah, yeah.
I have no
The
idea.
blonde guy,
Yeah.
right? Divine. Yeah, yeah. I know.
Yeah.
I cannot. I cannot. I have no idea, so I cannot. I have no comment
It
on
was
that.
a song in the 80s or 90s or something.
How did I miss these
From
things?
I don't know.
Yeah,
Okay.
I know. You look up divine. Divine's
It,
funny.
it's like you remember Goran, right?
Hold on, Jason.
He yeah, he has his picture in his profile picture.
Hello, Jason. Welcome.
Well, he's muted.
No, he's not.
Hey, what's
Oh,
up?
Oh,
he's not.
oh no, he's good.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Loud and clear,
welcome.
sir.
Hey, what's up, guys? How's it going?
No, that's
We
good.
we are having fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've talked with Cafe before. I mean, the times I've talked with him, he seemed, I mean, didn't seem completely unreasonable. I mean, I know he has some religious viewpoints, but
I think he's not
what
totally unreasonable.
what he was asking about divine revelation, or you guys were asking about divine revelation?
Yes. Weren't you the one who said it's kind of understandable,
You
or
said
am I wrong?
you said it's definitionally understandable, Jason.
Yeah, I mean, I think hold on, where my screen go? Oh, there it is. Okay. Yeah, I think Cafe was asking that in the chat. He had said, what did he say?
He said atheists don't understand divine revelation.
Yeah. And I was saying, like, I can understand it conceptually. I just don't
Exactly. It's not.
I don't think I don't think divine revelation is a means to understand our world. And he said you can't understand divine revelation unless you actually experience it. And that's when I was like, well, I understand definitionally what it is. It's revelation that is through an individual, like Jesus. Jesus has given me this. I've gotten this viewpoint from Jesus. It's a divine revelation, as opposed to like a special or natural revelation, where it's like the world around me. I see the world around me. You know, look at the trees. That could be like a form of
okay.
natural revelation.
Okay, look at the trees. Has so many religions. You cannot point it like to Jesus, right? Because all the religion says, look at the trees.
Right, and I mean, it may be that like divine revelation is like where I have a divine experience. So like I have an experience, like I saw Jesus come to me, or God spoke to me and told me that He is the one true God. That would be a form, I think, of divine revelation. It's been divinely revealed to me. God has divinely revealed His his magnificence, his triomni aspects, and therefore I've had this revelation, and that's why I believe in God. But you could be like, oh, natural revelation is like, oh, I'm looking at the world around me. God has revealed through the world in His construction of the world that He is the one true God.
Yeah, but in fact, you cannot argue if somebody says he has a personal experience, right? Because it's called anecdotal evidence or something, right?
Anecdotal, yeah.
Yeah. So in fact, you cannot argue against that because you don't have the access to their mind, right? So I'll give you an example. Somebody is on LSD or something and he's seeing stuff, right? And you cannot say that's not true what he saw, right? Because he saw it. But does it mean the truth? That's a different thing. So I will refrain to say people, or when they say, I have a personal experience, right? I will refrain to them, you didn't. I would not say that.
Well, they could have had
But
they could have had a personal experience. I mean, they could have had an experience with God. There's just not any way to validate that.
exactly, because all the other religions which will deny the existence of those particular God, they have their personal experience too. And now how can you say, oh, this is more valid than the other one? Or the atheist experience where you don't have a divine
Yeah.
revelation, right?
I agree with you. I mean, this is kind of like a presuppositional position, though, that somebody could say, "Look, you can't tell me that I didn't have a divine experience," and I would say, "Well, I see no evidence that would suggest that divine revelation is a means of understanding our world. I don't see nobody's ever proved that. We don't have any evidence that suggests that's actually a valid way. We have no way of naturalistically understanding that. But somebody could say, but you don't know it's not true. It could be true. And I would say, well, it could be, I guess. Like I can't prove it absolutely that it's not. And they would say, aha, so you don't know that divine revelation is true. You can't prove that to me. So that's kind of the presuppositional position.
Yeah, but
right,
it's pretty
exactly.
weak. It's pretty weak. I mean,
no, it's not pretty weak for the person, right?
got
For the
no
person
teeth.
itself, no, Sydney. So the point,
Yes,
because you are saying it's just always black and white. No, and you are right at the end. But if somebody has this experience, you cannot argue against this experience, but it has no value if it comes, is it true or not? Because other people have a different experience about another God, and it's the same experience.
Yeah,
like,
obviously, because we're human beings and physiologically we react the same to situations, to common situations.
So if the Christian is saying, I had a personal revelation from my Jesus, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the Buddhist says, I have a personal revelation from whatever the God calls, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or you have an Aztec guy who has this revelation from the Aztec guy. You cannot tell them you didn't have that, but you can tell if the same experience can be done with another God, what is the truth about that? This is the only thing what you can attack,
Well,
not
you can
attack him.
But on the other hand, you can discount the actual reality of it if it's happening all over the world to certain people, and it's obviously not happening to anyone or happening to you, or to me, or to Jason, or to Skeptic. We can tell that it's not something that is universal. It's something that is comes from the person who received that divine message in reality from another person.
Oh, if I can play devil's advocate.
Devil's advocate. Go ahead.
Yeah, because devil doesn't exist, but let me play it, right? So imagine there are people saying this is the truth, and there is one guy who's saying no, this is the truth, and is against all the others, right? Do we have examples of that? That if it happens also in science, that people were right before the other people believed in it. Of course, the difference is that he could provide evidence and convince the others, right? So, but you cannot go with the majority. What the majority is thinking that's the truth is. That's why I'm saying you cannot argue with somebody who says his anecdotal evidence. You cannot do that. You can just go with, oh, you have your experience. We have many examples of other guys who has the exact same experience, but just with another God. And therefore, it doesn't count. Not because he is kind of wrong. So I'm just talking about the experience. I'm not talking about all the other arguments. I'm just talking about the experience himself. When his only backup argument for his belief is his anecdotal evidence.
Yeah. I mean, I'm responding to Cafe in the chat who was saying mystical experiences are a recognized phenomena within consciousness that is well studied within neuroscience. Well, they may study people having these experiences. People do claim to have mystical divine experiences. That's not any proof that those experiences are actually the result of some external divine source. It's just that people have experiences. They have delusions, they have hallucinations, they have visions. That occurs. We know what we have well established, neuroscientific research that would suggest that why people have these experiences. Can we prove that it's or do we have any evidence that it suggests that it's from God or some mystical source? No, we don't. And again, I can't say with 100% certainty it's not God, but all the evidence would suggest it has a naturalistic explanation.
Yes, and the funny stuff I would like also to tell at Cafe, there is a thing which is called the God helmet. It's like a electronic device you put on your head, and it really exists. And you put it on an atheist, and you turn it on, and they will have like a godlike experience, right? And it's a pure production of science. So now you can see that all these experiences can be just done by somebody has the wrong neurons connected to each other, and then they will have a god experience. And by the way, Sydney, look at the picture of Jason Thorne. There's a kind of a dog you have too.
Oh yeah, my dog just walked in.
Oh,
Came in.
I missed that.
You miss it. He is near his table chair. That's why you don't see him now. But I'm pretty sure it's kind of a dog you have too.
I don't
He has a
think
Shih Tzu.
I don't think I've had an atheist in here that doesn't have a dog or a cat.
Well,
The cats are mainly when the Christians have a cat. So the atheists have the dogs.
Yeah, thank you.
No, sorry, Bill.
Cafe, why don't you're like texting in the chat? Why don't you just come into Discord and Cafe's like
he was
telling me that
come
like
on in.
conscious.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
He was here, but he kind of left.
Yeah, come on and try it again. Click on the new link.
And Jason is like the example that it works, right? So Cafe, you have no excuses.
I just
right?
I clicked on the link. It works.
Yeah.
Cafe was saying in the chat that like
he was locked or something.
Right? Channel locked. He said channel locked.
He said I responded to him and said about mystical experiences, like people have these experiences, the source of the experience is the brain, and we have no evidence to suggest that this source is divine. And he responded and said, and as we established in a previous discussion he and I have had before, there's absolutely no evidence within neuroscience which establishes that consciousness itself is generated by the brain. Okay, that's false.
What?
I wouldn't say there's absolutely no evidence. I think there is ample evidence. We don't have conclusive evidence where we totally understand all the aspects of how consciousness as an emergent property comes from the brain. As with all science, we don't know all the answers, but we have a good amount of answers that indicate that consciousness is a source of the brain, and we don't have any evidence that suggests consciousness is external to the brain.
Well, we have to figure out how consciousness enters the brain. If it's external from the brain or external to the brain, it has to enter the brain before it becomes consciousness of the individual, right? So how does this consciousness enter the brain? Because the brain is
a miracle.
The brain is the brain is. Don't joke around. This is serious. The brain.
It's a miracle, man.
There's examples of people who like have brain injuries. Are they conscious? Like,
well, if you don't know the answer, it's automatically a miracle, right?
No, the thing is, the truth is, you can like people who call themselves conscious, you can like cut off a part of their brain without letting them die, and
Yeah.
their consciousness is gone.
Yeah.
Lo-
Yeah.
lobotomy, what is the English
Yeah. A
word, right?
lobotomy.
Lobotomy.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. And even putting some chemicals in your brain will destroy your consciousness. So we have evidence that the brain is the source of our consciousness, right? And the most, and I will make a joke now, cut your brain completely, there'll be no consciousness.
I mean,
You can infer, the source of consciousness.
well, I mean, we have good evidence that suggests the consciousness is associated with the brain, and I think that when you look at the research, neuroscientific research, that neuroscientists are the first to say, like, there are many facets of consciousness that we don't have good answers for, that we're still exploring these areas. That doesn't mean the consciousness is external to the brain. And if you asked any of those neuroscientists, they're not going to say
Exactly.
consciousness is external to the brain. They're just going to say, look, the current levels of research, there are some things that like we don't fully understand. We understand lots of things around consciousness and its associations with the brain. We just don't know everything. And so theists tap into that and say, aha, because you don't know everything, then you don't know where
Exactly.
consciousness actually comes
So,
from. And I think
so
that's disingenuous.
how would you compare the God of the gaps on the theist side to their argument of aha? What do they call it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, certainly anytime somebody
Science
says,
of the
look,
gaps?
well, I mean, no, I mean, if you can't explain something, I mean, science of the gaps, which is a bullshit term, is that, if we can't scientifically explain something, like that's a gap in our scientific knowledge.
Right.
Like just how they're trying to say,
That's the one.
if there's a gap in this knowledge, they're attributing it to God. I'm like, well, if I don't know something, I'm attributing it to science. But here's the thing. If you go back throughout history, like it's always what always has happened is there's an unknown event, and eventually we do discover naturalistic explanations. There's never been a situation where there's an unexplained event and it's actually attributed to God. Like we have ample evidence to say, look, given my a priori knowledge, it's reasonable to assume that if I don't know what the answer is to something, it likely has a naturalistic explanation because we've seen this over and over and over and over and over and over again. So again, science is provisional. I'm not saying 100% certainty that if I don't understand something, it has a naturalistic explanation. It's highly, highly likely.
But how can you say, Jason, that you don't know everything? So in that case, because you don't know everything, that
Yeah.
it's possible, although highly improbable, that a higher spiritual God power thing could exist. How do
Well,
you stand
oh,
by?
that's a fallacy. I forgot the name of this fallacy.
how do I reconcile that?
How do you know?
Uh,
How do you stand by that? How come? How is there wiggle room for the theists in your presentation?
Well, I mean, because I'm a scientist, and scientists typically don't like to refer to 100% certainty. There are facets of science
Yeah, no,
where
absolutely. We're talking about science is only concerned with the natural. But when you say that you don't know everything and therefore it's possible that the unnatural, the supernatural, could exist because you don't know everything. I don't see why you can't take a stand and say there is nothing to suggest that your God exists other than the story that you're telling me.
yeah, I could
Whatever.
say that. I could say there's nothing that suggests that. All I'm saying is that
But how is
um,
it possible?
well, look, first of all, if I'm a methodological naturalist. I'm a scientist. I think that the best methods for understanding our world is science and naturalistic mechanisms.
Hmm.
And until such a time as we have other mechanisms to explain our world, that's what I think is the best mechanism. Could somebody come up with a methodology that is somehow, although I don't know how this would occur, because the term supernatural is external to naturalism, another methodology that explores outside of the natural world ways of understanding our world and they come up with a methodology, and it's testable and reproducible. I'm
I
as a
understand
scientist,
that. I
I'm just
understand.
trying to. I'm just saying I'm not willing to say
Jason,
100%.
may I interrupt you like that? And may I ask is it the
Please.
method to show you what is the difference between imaginary and reality? Can you describe it like that? So the scientific method gives us the possibility to differentiate between things which are real and not real. It doesn't mean because you are nice as a scientist, so you go with the probability, and there is some 0.0000001
Yeah.
probability of a God, right? This is the reason why you're not excluding it, right? But it doesn't mean it's true, right? The scientific method give us the possibility to differentiate between things which are true and imaginary.
Well,
Would
I
you
mean,
agree to that or not?
I don't know if I would phrase it that way, because science certainly deals with the brain and aspects which we would consider imaginary. Like, I'm thinking of a pink elephant. You know, a pink elephant in my brain is imaginary, but the thought of the pink elephant exists, and I can, through neuroscience, we can
Concept.
we can examine those thoughts. And I do believe that we've now have the ability, if somebody thinks something, or we can reconstruct memories somewhat, and through scientific processes. So so I don't know if I would say imaginary and reality. I mean, it's just that naturalistic mechanisms and the scientific method are the best ways of understanding our world.
Yeah, but
And
science didn't discover the supernatural realm.
agreed. I agree. I mean, and the term supernatural is
Yes,
kind of
but the scientific method doesn't exclude it, right? It's still
Sure it
this
does.
where I'm no, this is what I'm
If
telling
scientific method
that
stumbles across it,
we are nice. No, listen, Sydney.
okay.
When I'm saying we are nice to atheists, because the science, or at least in my opinion, science doesn't say no to God, because in fact, if science will discover God, let's make the funny stuff, right? It will be proven, and it will be not supernatural, it will be natural, because we can like back it up. But we know it's totally bogus, it's totally bullshit, right? But we are not saying no. We are still open.
Why?
Because it's the scientific method.
We
You cannot
know it's
say
bullshit.
things.
You just says it. You just said we know it's bullshit, but we
Yeah.
are open. That doesn't make any
Oh,
logical sense.
no, it makes a logical sense if you will look at the Newtonian gravity. So we had a concept of gravity made by Newton, and we thought this is it, right? And if science would think this is it, we will not need the relativity concept and the special relativity, because the science is going with data. It's not going with statements. This is it. Therefore, I'm
Science
saying
can make predictions.
it had nothing to do with what I've
Religion
said.
cannot make predictions.
Oh, they can make prediction like.
I understand what he's saying. I mean, I hate the word supernatural because it implies outside of the natural world. You could say, like, look, there could be a time in the future where science uncovers mechanisms that say there's alternate dimensions, and that what we were proposing as God actually has a naturalistic explanation. We just don't have the ability to understand that as of now. So I'm just always leery of putting like 100% certainty that that which is being termed supernatural doesn't exist, because we just don't have any way of understanding it. We don't have any way of evaluating natural or supernatural. It doesn't fit into our paradigm of the way that we understand the world.
So there's a universe. There's a universe in which the story of Goldilocks and the Three Bears is not a a made up thing. It actually exists in a real dimension, a real life,
Yeah.
in a real world situation in another universe.
Okay.
Is that possible?
I mean, I don't know if it's possible or not, but I know people have proposed those theories.
Exactly.
I think that,
That's my point.
so
For all intents and
so we
purposes,
don't
for our worldly debate, for our worldly message, for all intents and purposes, God is impossible.
In our universe,
That's where we live.
I don't think so. I don't think there's substantial evidence to suggest that God exists, so therefore I don't believe that God exists. So that's my position. I don't make claims of absolute certainty.
So Sydney, when you
I
said
do. I'm not a scientist.
in our universe, you are completely right, because we know there was a theory like 40 years ago which proved already that you don't need a god to create our universe, right? But of course, then
Oh,
you
hear
can
that?
go. Yeah.
That's this.
I just agree to you. I just agree to you.
No. I'm saying, do you hear my dog asking to go out, and I have to take her out? So I'm
Oh,
just going to leave this running. Go, carry on.
yeah. So we have so we have like evidence to the contrary that you don't need a god to create our universe, right? This is what we have. The funny stuff that all the religions are saying that our universe was created by God. So you can just say now, right now, there is no God, right? Because we have evidence. But because the scientific method is so nice to other line of thoughts, this is the reason why it doesn't exclude the God. But it's not about the possibility, it's about the probability. So if is it probable? No, not at all. Until now, it's not probable at all. Possible, yeah, but it might be also possible that
Almost anything's possible.
yeah, universe farting pixies exist, and they farted our universe into existence without being a god.
I mean, there are some things that are that you could be like, is it possible that I mean, you could be like, is it possible that there's a horse the size of Texas? Like, based on what we know of horses and like the limits of bone density, that you
Right.
could say it's impossible that a horse could be the size of Texas, given what we know of horses. It wouldn't be a horse. It wouldn't have the aspects of a. So you could say those kinds of things, but this whole God concept. I mean, I would agree with you that presuppositionalists and theists take advantage of the objectivity of science. They take advantage of that by saying, well, when you say science is provisional, you're saying you can't exclude that, or like, the same thing with like what precepts will talk about rationality and reason. Like, where does rationality and reason come from? Like the hard solipsist topic. And people are like, well, I can't know. So ultimately, when we go back, there are certain assumptions and axioms that we use as a basis for understanding what we know. If somebody's like, well, where do those axioms come from? You're like, well, I can't give you an explanation for that. They're like, aha. Therefore, your worldview collapses on itself because you can't explain that. That's taking advantage of kind of the naturalistic understandings of our world. But
right.
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with acknowledging that there are some things we don't know. Now, if you asked a theist that and said, "Are there some things you don't know? Maybe God doesn't exist? Is that possible?" Most of them are going to go,
"No, exactly."
Yeah. So that's where I think that it's absurd for them to say that they can know with 100% certainty their God exists.
Yeah,
they can't know that.
Yeah, exactly. So, in fact, like we are claiming that. Thomas, would you want to say something, Thomas? Are we cutting you off?
No, I'm fine.
Okay.
I just was yawning.
So the thing is, like, does talking, right? And I mean, precept shit, right? So when they go with the God, and that's the funny stuff, So this is like I don't understand the theist, right? So they are not just going for a god, for a god. They're always going for a specific god. They're just hiding that they are talking about a god. And when they're talking about a god, they are talking about their god. And their definitions of their god, they are much different to the other religions, right? So the precepts, as we know them, they are talking about a Christian God, right? And if the discussion will be, is the Christian God possible? We can prove that this Christian God is not possible, right? But they will hide, like, oh, we are talking just about now God. We are not talking about Jesus. We are not talking. Is there a possibility there is a God? Yes. But if you're talking about is the possibility that Jesus was that the Trinity exists and that Jesus is the God, no, it's not possible. And we can do it with every other religion which gives a specific definition of their God. But if they are going just a God, which is totally false because they don't believe in other gods, yeah, they are just claiming bullshit.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, the deist position is relatively stronger than than a theist position, or like to say I believe in the Christian God. It requires an even higher level of absurdity to explain, as opposed to just saying like pantheist, like, oh, I think that the universe is God, all gods are the same. I mean, I had this discussion with Rebecca from Bread of Life on her channel about, like, she's a Christian. I'm like, how do you know what you know? And she's like, well, I have faith, I have personal experience, read the Bible, etc. I'm like, somebody could make the same claim if they were a Hindu or a Muslim. They
Mm-hmm.
could make a claim that theirs
Exactly.
is the truth. It just shows the subjectiveness of the topic, like that it's not really based on any sound evidence. It's just, this is what I feel it. I have faith, you know, and they can have that faith. It's just like Rebecca would be like, look, I think I have good reasons to think that God exists. I'm like, wait a minute, you have reasons. But are they good reasons? What defines a good reason? Just because you say you have faith and you believe that and you had a personal experience, that's not a good reason to believe. That is a reason, maybe, but I don't think it's a good reason. None of them are really good reasons. So anyways, I mean, I would agree with you that, like, the derivations of all the religions just adds confusion to one particular religious perspective in their attempts to
Yeah.
make a claim that their position is true.
Well,
Yeah.
Michael Shermer always says, uh, you
I
don't
have
believe
to.
in any
I
other
have to go.
gods, just
Sorry,
go one
skeptic.
God more.
Skeptic. I'm just having to go to toilet, so you have to carry on the conversation for 2
Yeah,
minutes.
man. I can bail water. Yeah, like Michael Shermer says, just go one God more. You already don't believe in all the other gods, and most likely the God that you've been indoctrinated to believe is true is also as false. And all you have to do is just make that one's leap further and begin to doubt that that God exists. And
Yeah, was
then things will fall into place.
I've heard, like, people say, like, all like like when I say I'm an atheist and somebody says, "Oh, I believe in a God," I'm not an atheist. I'm like, "Well, you are an atheist for the 2,999 other gods. It's, you don't believe in those gods. You think those gods don't exist. You just think your God exists." Maybe that's Shermer that says that. I've heard somebody say that before.
Yeah, Shermer,
Michael Shermer.
skeptic. Yeah,
I don't know, that is that who you were referring to, Michael Shermer?
yeah, Michael Shermer. Yeah, I like his show, podcast. You ever listen to Michael Shermer?
Yeah, I've heard him before. Um, I mean, he has a PhD in something. I thought so. Maybe I'm wrong. Michael Shermer.
I don't know what his credentials are. but I know I've heard him talk about his history. You know, he used to be religious, and
He, yeah, he has a PhD from Claremont in what? Yeah, I don't know. He is experimental psychology. Um, yeah, I don't know. It says he has a PhD from Claremont, but looks like he has a psychology. He has a master's of arts of psychology from Cal State Fullerton. Anyways, yeah, he has a couple books out. I think I don't really follow him too much. I've just heard him. I've heard him.
I think his podcast. I
Yeah,
listen to it at night.
yeah.
He has a bunch of interesting writers speaking on there. He talks to theists some as well. Does pretty good. They yeah, man, it's like Jordan Peterson. You know, he's not religious, but he advocates religion as a social framework to maintain a cohesive society. I don't know. He's got some valid points in that aspect. Because some people, without some kind of guideline, they don't seem to be able to conduct themselves civilly for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know if it's
Yeah,
IQ or just part of our nature
I don't
as
really,
humans.
I don't really like Jordan Peterson. I mean, uh, I think he should just stick to his own discipline. I mean, he's a published psychologist. He needs to stick to his areas. I think he expands out into areas he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. But because he's not a dumb guy, he thinks he can just pontificate on these other topics. I've heard him say some really stupid shit. Um, so I think he should just keep to his own discipline, stay out of other areas. So that's what I think. I'm not a big fan of Peterson. But
I just came back. You are not talking about Jesse Lee Peterson, or?
Jordan Peterson,
Jordan.
Okay.
No,
not
no,
Jesse Lee. No, no. Although, by the
no,
way,
not you.
I don't know if I don't know if you know like this guy Hake.
Hack report from the Hack report.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he
I
is
think
just a minion.
yeah,
He's
I
a
think he's
minion.
Jesse Lee Peterson's producer or something.
Yeah, he's like he was on his show, and now he's his own
He's got his
one.
own show. Yeah,
Yeah.
he debated Hunter Avalone on it was like a systemic racism debate. That Hate guy is crazy. He doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. Like
Um.
he's so racist.
So if he's the clan, I didn't watch the debate, right? But I would just assume if he's coming from Jesse Lee Peterson, he will say racism does not exist. It's only a fight between good and bad. And but to be true, I kind of agree. Because I agree that the rest. So I'll give you an example. For example, when I say all Finnish people or all Scandinavian people are fuckers, and I hate them, am I racist by doing that? No, I'm just saying that they are idiots, right? Or whatever. I don't like them. But if I say the same about some other people of groups, they will call me a racist. And therefore, and I'm an old guy, right? And I now what's the funny stuff? I experienced what racism means, not before it was done to me, because I did it and then I find myself on the other side of the fence, right? or I realized I was racist to myself, and then I realized what it means. So, because the guys in America, when they say slavery, this is the racism, it's not. Slavery existed for himself. It's not the racism, but they will say that slavery is racism.
I don't think slavery is racism. Has a racist component.
No, this is what they say. This is what I'm saying. Those guys are basing their opinion upon that because in history there were slaves, and this is what they say they are racist. If I will look at Europe, right, at the feudalism system, it means before there was even the transatlantic slavery and Arabic Muslim slavery in Europe. There are people who are belonging to the king. They were owned by the king. They are not allowed to move. They have to stay in their village. When they wanted to marry, the bride had to sleep with the king or with the owner of the land, and it goes further and further, right? They were technically slaves, right? But nobody called it slavery, right? And you can say, oh, but you can see that it was slavery. So were they racist to themselves? No, they were not. They were just doing the stuff. And now you have something like racism because people are disadvantaged or looked bad at them, and this is what they call racism. And me, personally, this is actually the only thing which I agree with Jesse Peterson. No, there are good people and bad people, and people who are bad to other guys, they will do this stuff, and they will hate the other people, and this is what you call racism. But if you look at it objectively, it's just hate.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, my position is certainly that people treat other people differently that are that are different from them. So people,
Yes.
different groups will treat each other differently.
Yes.
And there's
I
aspects of
agree.
fear and discrimination, and when a group of people that are in control of a society discriminate against another group that looks differently than them, which is what white people in America have done for eons. We've seen people who look differently than the people who are in control. So black people, Asian people, Native American people, gay people, they say, I mean, it's most obvious with skin color because you can't hide your skin color. When you look a certain
you just mentioned some stuff which has nothing to do with the skin color.
Well, but to be gay, but you can be discriminatory against somebody who is gay. Now it's like people who are gay can blend in more so than somebody who's black. Somebody who's black, it's more difficult to blend in if they see it right there on the surface.
So
would you
yeah, but so now would you reduce the racism only to the skin color? Because what I tried to say before, they treated differently people of the same color, right? The difference was, oh, they weren't kings, they weren't royal, they were just people who were living on the street, and they were treated differently. Would you call it racism, or would you call it hate?
Racism is a social. My view. Now, this is my view. People have different views.
Yeah.
It's racism is not a biological term. Like I think the term "cline" is what is used in biological terms with regards to genetic differences in that respect. Racism is a social construct, And so we look at people and we see and we are like, that person's black, that person's white, that person's Asian. We consider them different races. That's
Yeah.
we've socially constructed that. And to say discrimination, racism is a form of discrimination that is mostly associated with this social construct of race. And so you could be racist, or I mean, you could be discriminatory to somebody based on their race. You could be discriminatory based on their sexual preferences, based on their religion. There's lots of things that you can
Yeah.
discriminate
Yeah.
somebody by. Racism just happens to be a very ugly, discriminatory practice that has occurred for many years, and it's the most obvious one because it's the color of your skin. It's the most predominant characteristic that is. But you check it out. You could be somebody that's white and be dark colored, and somebody could discriminate against you because they think that you're black, or somebody could be Jewish and they don't look white and nobody knows the difference, but until they hear their last name or they have some association with them, and then they're discriminatory towards them. So it's it's complicated, but I definitely think that America has a long history of discrimination
Yeah.
and racism, and it persists today. And I do believe in systemic racism. I do think that exists.
So okay. If you're saying there's a history in America of doing that against, I'll be with you. But if you go to the root problem, it's just a hatred against other people. As you said, they look different, or they think different,
Sure,
or
sure.
or they come from other tribe.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. It
So
ultimately is based. It's not based in genetics. It's not based in anything like that. It's based on fear and tribal attitudes. You're not like me, but those have built up over generations and generations.
right.
And
So the funny stuff, and I don't want to say to any black people when they say we were um, treated wrongly and we were discriminated and there was racism involved. I don't want to deny them to it. On the other side, when I say I'm an African because I believe in evolution and I'm white as milk, right?
yeah,
And I tell tell them I'm an African, they will tell me, no, you're not, right? So
because you're white.
yes.
I mean,
So
I don't know about that. I mean, there are people like that consider themselves African that are white. Like South
no,
Africa has tons of white people.
it has nothing to do with the people who are living there. So, but according to evolution theory, which we are not, and we came out from Ethiopia, right? We're all, let's say, all people were black, right? And we are just the descendants of them, and because of the environment, our skin or the people who survived were getting whiter and whiter. But after all, we are all Africans. And if you look at Richard Dawkins, he was wearing a T-shirt at some point, which was saying we are all Africans, right? We will say we are equal, in fact, and all this hatred came because people were stupid, or they want to have a reason to hate other people. If I say this to not to all, but to most, I'm quoting Jason Peterson again. Yeah, they will tell me, no, that's you're saying shit. You are white. You don't know what discrimination means.
Do you believe in like reverse racism? I don't think reverse racism is a thing, but
You mean
like
like
turn
like
people
like
turn around.
like black people are discriminating white guys or
Yeah, do you
what?
think that white people? Do you think like in America, white people can be discriminated against?
Mm,
It's a
this will
controversial
be a
topic.
joke. This will be a joke, right?
I mean, look, no, there are people like I mean, the concept of reverse racism is a bullshit concept in my view. But there are people that think that that's a legitimate term, and um,
No, that's why I'm saying they are exactly
yeah,
at the same exactly at the same people who are for real racist. That's why I'm saying this is the point where I'm agreeing with
yeah.
GSLE. It doesn't exist. It's just bad people are doing bad stuff to good people.
Well,
If
but
you
when Jesse Lee Peterson says that, he's attempting to what's the word I want to use? Like smooth over what the experiences of African Americans in the United States. He's trying to make it seem like that what black people have experienced is not just because of their black. It could happen to anybody. But and I think that doesn't just that does an injustice to the situation because of
oh
what the black people are in the position they are in because of what has happened over many years. It's and there hasn't been like white people having injustices done to them in that way. I mean, if there are, it's very minor. Um, and
no, what he's wrong about that what you of course did they stuff to black people. That's what he's wrong about. But he's kind of stupid when he's saying, you know, no. In fact, what he is saying that the black people are now guilty of the thing what is happening to them. They are like the authors of the stuff what is happening to them. This is where he's wrong, right? And when he's like playing over what's happening, I will not deny it at all that it happened. It'll be stupid, but he's more stupid to saying, "Oh, today, the black people are guilty of the stuff what is happening to them." This is where he's wrong. But after all, if you look at it, it's not about the color, because, in fact, if you look at history, the first slave in America for life was done by the black guy. He won a trial, and because until then there were slaves only for 7 years, but there was a yeah, I don't know go because it would seem like I'm trying to justify something, um, or to excuse something, but I don't want to seem like that.
yeah,
So in fact, what I'm saying, the racism is about some group of people taking advantage and doing wrong stuff to other people. It has nothing to do with the skin color. It just happened that in the transatlantic slave trade, it were the black people who were taking the slaves by the white guy. No question about that. In Europe, it was before that, it was white guy in the white societies. In the Muslim slave trade, which nobody talks about, which existed until today, you can today like go to Africa if you're a Muslim, you can buy slaves today, not 200 years ago. And it's done by Muslims, right? And nobody talks about that, right? And if you give the arguments to somebody who's living in Africa, and of course his family was mistreated by white guys, he will not understand those arguments. He will say, no, this is something different. Look at my family.
well, I mean, I think that that racism and slavery are connected in that the most at the time in the past, people who are different than other people were seen as subhuman. They were seen as not
Yeah,
like
yeah.
black people were seen as like not human. They were seen as like animals. And so it legitimized the ability to enslave them, not as opposed to other people that looked similar to the people that were doing the enslaving. So this is, while you can have slavery that is not associated with such radical physical
Let me
differences.
like the subhuman stuff, right?
Yeah,
That's
like
true.
they
That's
did that
true.
with
That's
like
true.
the Israelites. Like the Israelites got, conquered, and they got taken. I don't know if it's actually true, them getting taken into slavery by Egypt, but that I know there's a lot of stories or
Mm.
suggestions that that's just a bunch of bullshit. They weren't actually slaves in Egypt, whatever. But the concept of conquering your enemies and then taking them into slavery is a well-known facet or aspect of history. So I'm sure that there are places that are like, I'm white and you're my enemy, and we conquered you, we took you into slavery, and you're not black or you're not a different color, but I still took you into slavery. It's the same concept. It's like they think less of those people, and it's just really easy to it used to be, it still is, to think that people that don't look like you are less than you, that are subhuman, and that justifies treating them as animals, therefore discriminating against them, enslaving them. So,
Yeah, I will not disagree that it happens, right? Because I know for in Europe there were like studies. Oh, look at those black guys. They are stupid, different, whatever, right? But the same shit happened during the World War II, where the Jews were accused of the same, right? So because they are not evolved, and there were like
I,
German
I thought
guys
they were
running.
subhumans. They didn't think they were human. They thought they considered them less than the perfect race, and that justifies killing them, enslaving them. It's the same
Yeah,
concept, It's just like, you know, they
uh,
saw
but,
them as
uh,
subhuman.
yeah.
For
So the thing is, what I mean, what I'm trying to say after all, right? It happens all over time. The black people are not unique that it happens to them,
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
and yeah. So after all, it's about bad people doing bad stuff to other people based on stupid thinking. Would you agree on at least to that? It's not
Well,
always.
I know, but when you say that, in some ways, it makes me think that like it somehow justifies it.
No, no,
Like
it's not
it's not,
justified.
it's not a discriminatory practice against people that look differently, and we treating them as subhuman. It's just bad people doing bad things to other people. That happens all the time, but there are motives behind why bad things are perpetuated. Like
Okay.
you could go steal something from somebody because you're hungry, or you attack somebody because you feel they're a threat, and you know you don't think they're subhuman, you think they're, but the facets of slavery and racism have this embedded aspects of like, you're different than me, therefore I'm justified in doing what I'm doing to you, because you're less than me. So that's not just like bad person doing bad things. Like, good people have done bad things throughout history, claiming that it's in the name of God, or thinking that it's a
Uh,
good thing.
Jason.
So,
what they do, yeah.
Oh, he says, Jason. I just want to address a comment that you put in the chat. You said, I don't think it's cultish to think that the scientific method is the best means of understanding our world. I wouldn't say it's the only way. When you say you wouldn't say it's the only way, what did you actually have in mind? Because the scientific method, as far as I can tell, is the only one I can actually imagine to be, I can actually see. And
scientism, one of the extreme aspects of scientism is to proclaim that science is the only possible way that you can ever understand and explain the world.
the
And
world being a
that has come,
universe, is that what you
that has
mean?
come, that has come under attack considerably in the 20th century, of saying that science is the absolute only way you can understand the world. Would you consider like um, logical methods, philosophical logical methods of understanding the world? You could say that's not scientific, but it is a way of understanding our world.
Well, what do you mean by world?
The world around us, our
Just
thoughts, our
what about
experiences.
the cosmos at large?
Well, I mean, I could propose a philosophical, like a metaphysical explanation of the universe. It's not unreasonable to explore the world using those mechanisms. I'm not saying it's better than the scientific method. I'm just saying there are alternative methods of understanding our world, our thoughts, our views, and I don't think it's unreasonable to say that there are other methods to understanding our world. I think science is the best one, but I don't want to preclude other
Well,
methods.
what are the choices? Science is one. What are the other choices that you
Well,
say?
I just mentioned another one, which is like
Mm,
philological precepts and
No,
philosophy.
you said metaphysics, so I'm excluding kind of metaphysics.
Yeah, I don't understand metaphysics. I don't understand what it is if it's not if it's it seems to be no different than the supernatural or one of those terms that you say oh you don't understand but may be possible.
I wouldn't call it supernatural. I mean, like just the concepts of logical propositions, understanding our world those perspectives. I mean, some people might lump in logic as as a form of science. You might. I mean, I don't think that you form scientific hypotheses with logic. You form logical propositions. You could explore understanding our mind, ethics, morals,
I know,
things
but
of that nature with logic. It's possible.
science doesn't concern morals. Science concerns
I agree.
tries to explain the real world. And
I,
when you
I agree.
deviate from what science is to thoughts and non-scientific verbatim, then it just seems like you're not really part of science 100%.
Look, all I'm saying, first of all, I'm not saying that science isn't the best mechanism for understanding our world. I did say that. I said I think it is. I'm just saying that's not the only one. And so, as an example, morals and ethics, you could explore those topics with science. You could look at the biochemical processes of the brain. You can explore evolutionary theory. You can explore social constructs
Yeah, but
and try
that's
to
not
understand.
that's got nothing to do with physics and chemistry, which is what we seem
No,
to
it
be.
does. No, it absolutely does. What I just explained has everything to do with math, chemistry, biology. Understanding morals can be explored through brain chemistry, through evolutionary theory, through social constructs, which can be explored scientifically. Those things can be explored scientifically. They can also be explored logically. We can think about logical propositions that explore morality,
Yeah, but that's
um,
not science.
well, I'm not claiming it to be science. I'm just saying that it's another mechanism of exploring things like morals. I'm saying it's an alternative technique to explore it. I'm not saying it's the best technique. I'm saying that there are other techniques and other methods. And
So
I
it's
would
like me
consider.
saying flying is the best way to get from New York to Paris. I'm not saying it's the only fastest way. There could be other faster ways to get from New York to Paris that doesn't concern flying, but I'm not ruling it out. That seems to be the
I don't
analogy that
think
I'm picking up from
that's
you.
a straw man. That's
No.
not a fair. That's not a fair analogy of what I was
Is
explaining.
it a fair analogy, everybody?
It wasn't a fair analogy.
I'm not on your side, Sydney. So you have to fight for your own.
Okay, well, I'm using the same logic.
No white knight, Sydney.
I'm using.
Sydney's dug his own hole.
Yeah, okay, well, let me dig myself out because I'm using
That's fine.
Jason's technology. I mean, Jason's logic.
Yeah,
Yeah. He says science is the best method he knows of, but there are probably other ways, other
correct.
methods.
Yeah.
And I'm
Right.
saying,
Yeah.
hold on. And I'm
Yeah.
saying that flying from New York to Paris is the most efficient, fastest way, but there are probably more efficient, and faster ways than flying to get from New York to Paris. I just don't know what they are.
That's not it has that
That's
is not a
exactly what you said
that's not
about.
a relevant analogy to what we're talking about. We're talking about the two different methods of exploring the world. In this example, we're talking about logical, philosophical methods and scientific methods. And I proposed a topic of morality and ethics, and to say that you can explore both of those with both areas in different ways. You could explore morality through scientific means, and you could explore morality through logical, philosophical means. And that both of them derive different understandings of that topic.
They actually do that in biology and like zoology and stuff like that. They
That
certainly
they do what?
observe morals through
I agree. I
yeah
agree.
through
I'm saying that they do.
troops
I'm
of
saying that I'm saying that, but I'm saying, like, as an example, if we were to explore the concepts of moral anti-realism or the aspects of objective morality in relationships to God, and facets of like the problem of evil, and or divine command theory, do morals exist outside of God, or does God create morals, and constructing logical propositions to understand that, to see, like, are there logical contradictions in morals or objective morality? That's kind of a philosophical, logical method of exploring those concepts. Alternatively, I could say what brain chemistry is involved with potentially exploring these issues of morals. I could survey 1,000 people and ask them moral questions and hook their brains up to EEGs and look at the brain signals. I could conduct surveys of people in differing locations around the world and then statistically evaluate the differences of societies and make conclusions based on that. Look at confounding variables in relationship to that. I could do that in the scientific method. I'm saying that there are differing ways of looking at that topic, and I don't think it's unrealistic to say that logical, philosophical methods don't
Mhm.
uncover some facets that science doesn't uncover. It's okay to say that, I think.
But hmm,
go ahead, Pio.
but but we have. I mean, you made a valid point, but when I will argue against that, right? I would just say philosophy makes just some. If you make a logical argument in philosophy, you make just two two prepositions, and it can and the argument can sound valid because it sounds valid because the conclusion will be correct, but it has nothing to do with reality. And
It's not
I'll give you
sound.
an
I agree.
no,
Yeah.
no, no. It can be sound, and but
Okay.
so I'll give you an example. What William Lane Craig said, and I hope you know this guy.
Oh yeah.
So he said whether God exists or the moon is made out of cheese. Second proposition was the moon is not made out of cheese. Therefore, and this was the conclusion, God exists, right? It's a sound argument, but it has nothing to do with reality. And this is for me, this is philosophy. It's like, and it's nothing bad. I will not say that, but it has nothing to do with reality. In science, on the other side, you have to deal with data, right? And as you said, we can ask people what they feel, make their brain states, and all this stuff. At the end of it, you look out what was the result, right? Did this society survived, or yeah, whatever? Is there progress? And you can still make points to slavery, treating people bad. Does it result in a better world? Yes or no? And you have actual data. So philosophy is just a mental gymnastics, and it's fine. And I
Like,
know I make.
I don't disagree with you. I mean, I'm a scientist, and so sometimes you get into these philosophical discussions, and I'm like, this is just philosophical masturbation. I agree with you. Um, I'm only pointing out that, one, I don't like using the word scientism because it implies that even though I am a scientist, and part of me wants to say, science is the only thing there is that can best explain
It's
our
a
world.
method.
I
It's just
I hold
not the
back
only.
on saying that. I don't
Uh,
think it's I
yeah.
don't agree with it. I
Uh,
think that it's the best way of exploring a world, but I'm reticent to say it's the only way. And I was just using an example of logical
yeah.
propositions
Okay.
as
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So, anyways,
Okay. Okay. So welcome. Look out for the number 1. Sir.
Hello, Oscar.
Sir, don't
Carry
overtalk
on,
me,
carry on,
sir.
carry on, infidels.
No, sir, don't overtalk me, sir.
Oh
Just
yeah.
carry on. Yeah, we watched you. It was really, in fact, it was a part of a stream. We watched you on African.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you left.
Yeah, I thought you
Yeah,
was
I
going
had
to
to go.
open up the stream, open up the room for debate and for conversation, but I don't think she got there.
No, she did. What do you mean?
Oh, we must have left then early.
No.
Yeah.
At the beginning, her norm is when she opens a room, right? She puts a link at the top, similar to what you do.
Ah,
But hers is to her, what you call it, StreamYard thingy, right? So that's how I joined.
Yeah, that's what I thought she was gonna. Oh, I didn't see the link because I wanted
Right,
to.
so
I
that
think both me and Pio wanted to join
Yes, in fact.
so why you
yes.
didn't do it?
because I didn't
Yeah,
see a
because
link.
there was didn't see a link. Yeah.
It was exactly the same as what Sydney has got it in his YouTube channel. Identical.
We must have missed it because we must have. I don't know if I stayed much after you left. I was waiting a little bit, and then I think I had to take the dog out or something.
Yeah, exactly what
Who
that.
let the dog out?
I think by the time I got back, by the time I got back, it was over. She stopped the stream.
Really?
Yeah.
So are you saying that was my fucking fault?
Well,
Yeah,
if you feel guilty about it because you just mentioned it, maybe it was your fault. Can you explain yourself? Can you worm your way out of this somehow?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
because I'm
And,
a built-in sinner. That's why.
and we want to have 2 explanations, one from the scientific point and one from the metaphysical point.
Metaphysical, yes.
Oh, that bullshit philosophical one. Yeah.
Well, Jason's convinced that there's no reason to discount the metaphysical dimension.
Well, that's a yeah, but I don't know. That's a double-edged sword. The reason being is because precepts use it to use metaphysics to put other beings and make it real. That's the fucking problem, right? You can actually stop it right there and then. It says, okay, shall we talk about metaphysics? Because you can talk about metaphysics inside of a real world, right? Making concepts of the things like that. But when you say God is the only, no, shut the fuck up. Yeah, that's the problem. Yeah, that's why I don't like to talk about philosophy and things like that. If you want to talk about how things work, use the scientific method or empirically, and that's it.
Oscar, what I meant,
Jason, this will address to you, Jason. Don't look at the side chat. Answer.
I'm listening. I could respond if you want me to.
Well, I proposed. Okay, I proposed to Jason that essentially God is impossible. Why can't you just recognize that?
Well, do you want me to answer that?
Absolutely.
Well, because as a scientist, I am always leery of saying it's impossible.
No, I didn't say it's. I said God is impossible.
Yeah,
the supernatural nonsense is impossible.
Well, I think you know what I'm going to soften. Yeah, but I'm going to soften Jason's point of view, and correct me, Jason, if I'm wrong. Yeah. Could we say that scientists have got enough tools to judge the natural world, to study the natural world, and that's it, right? So it is fair to say that we don't need anything else unless we can study the supernatural, right? So we don't need to believe in any supernatural entity and its attribute, because that's just baggage, right? God can do this, God can do that. Fuck that, right? Just prove the bitch exists, and then we deal with the baggage, right? We don't have any tools to reach that, to do that empirically or anything like that. So might as well, until we are not able to reach that point, might as well go neutral, i.e. fuck it. Why believe that exists in the first place? So I would say, whenever it comes, let's investigate it. If it doesn't come, treat it as not there.
That's what I'd say.
Yeah, I don't think there's a problem with that.
That's
No,
reasonable.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Can we say that it doesn't exist? We cannot prove a negative. So first, prove the possibility that it is the case, and then we can
Yeah.
say, nah, that's bullshit. Because
Well,
we can say that with any
we say that
any.
anyway.
Sorry.
We do say that.
Yes, but yeah,
It's
Well,
educating the Christians.
Scientists typically say things like, given our current knowledge of a
Right.
particular position,
It's just a model. We are not telling the truth. It's just a model of the current knowledge.
Yeah.
Right.
And so, like, as an example, if I went back 300 years and told somebody space is actually curved, this thing called space-time, and do you know what? The space-time curvature shows that the travel along that line, actually time changes. Time is not the same in that curve, that along that, when gravity has major effects on space. You'd be like, that's impossible. It's impossible that time could be different like that. But guess what? We've discovered that is the case. And so a scientist would be well suited to say, given the evidence that we show right now, I don't think that's possible. But you know what? I'm not going to say it's impossible, because I don't have evidence that would suggest that. So that's all I'm saying with God, is that I'm not going to say impossible. I just say it's highly, highly unlikely. We see no evidence to suggest a God exists. Therefore, my view is God doesn't exist. But until such time as I see evidence that would suggest that, I think that's reasonable.
But would you say, like, because this will be like when any theist will listen to it will say, "Oh, we win," because the absence of the.
I don't care about
no,
that.
let me finish my point. Let me before I lose my track of thoughts.
Yeah, it's fine.
So what I'm thinking science is doing is a self-correcting system, but it doesn't deny the stuff which was discovered before. It's just correcting it. So there will be no. So it's like with the Newton. Maybe I'm making another old example. Like we have the gravity of Newton, and then we have a special relativity. No, relativity, and then the special relativity. Just because we discovered stuff, it doesn't mean that the Newtonian gravity model is wrong.
Agreed.
It still works, right?
Agreed.
It still works
within a certain level of accuracy. Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. So it's nothing like you find out the opposite of the stuff we are thinking.
I agree.
We will just find to be more accurate, and that's a completely different statement than
we're wrong.
We will find God. Yeah, we are wrong.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's not like we're going to suddenly discover I think what you're saying is, like, we're not going to discover some aspects which throw out 1,000 years of science. Like,
Yeah.
that, I agree with that, but I'm still, like, not willing. Like, I'm willing to make a proposition that
Yeah, you are still nice. Like all science, this is
but
what I
that's
like.
okay. I know
No, it's okay. It's the correct way. It's the
I almost
correct
feel
way.
like I almost feel like what you're saying is like we shouldn't be nice. That we should, like, take the kid gloves off and but you know what? scientists don't give a shit about how theists want to twist it around.
Yeah.
Twist it around? I don't really care. All I care about is what's actually true, and I care about research and science. So
No, yeah. The thing when I'm saying we are nice, it's what I'm usually saying when I'm talking to theists. So this argument is like this is what I'm. So when they say, yeah, but you cannot exclude, right? And this was the argument, like before that, because we cannot exclude it, therefore is it true. This is what they say, right? Because you cannot exclude it, it is possible.
What if we said that? When they say, aha, you can't exclude it, so it could be true. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
fine. What's the problem with that? Like, so what if they're
Yeah,
like,
but they will take it on the same value, right? You cannot exclude it, therefore it's on the same value that it's not. You have no proof of it at all.
I don't agree with that, and I mean I think we can make very compelling arguments that the body of evidence that suggests naturalistic mechanisms are what are the cause of the world as opposed to God doing it are overwhelming. Like I don't see any evidence of a God, but you know if they're like, well, can you like well the guy I forget your name looking out for number one.
Yeah, Oscar
Saying
will
that
do it. It's
like
fine.
we can't prove a negative. I can't prove God doesn't exist. Like if they're like, aha, well you can't prove God doesn't exist. I'm like, I don't think I need to prove that God doesn't exist. All I need to do is show that we have overwhelming evidence that would suggest naturalistic mechanisms are the cause, or why we see the world the way it is. And you don't have any evidence for your side. So until you start to provide evidence is even close to the other side's evidence, I don't believe that. And if you want to believe it, you can, but your positions are unreasonable. And they don't make. If you want to make a claim that you believe something because of faith, or you just believe it for whatever reason, fine. But if you want to say I have evidence,
it's even worse. We got sorry, my apologies. We got tools to find out how things are, how to know it, not to believe it, how to know it. Yeah, they haven't even got the tools to believe it. Funny enough, they use a lesser reliable way, which is called faith, right? Which is substandard to knowledge, right? They cannot sell
Absolutely
that.
correct.
Correct. They cannot sell it. You know what I mean? They selling sand to the Sahara people. Do you understand? Yeah, it's worthless, right? They don't have a mechanism, right? Apart from convincing, and they prefer weapon is well, I just said it, the weaponizing philosophy. Okay, they using word salads, what you said, Jason, right? To actually try and to convince us. And it's not about believing, it's just how convincing you are, right? Not how right you are, okay? Which is the deceptive part of it, okay? And the scientific method is saying, well, not saying, but we can show, listen, let's work something out. What tools have we got? X, Y, Z. Fine, let's make it happen, right? We cannot reach the end. You know what I mean? Like the fringes of our knowledge. Fuck it, let's not reach there. Yeah, let's carry on improving what we got and move backwards in time. I mean, right, or forward in future, however we record it. Like what happened in the Big Bang or whatever. If we cannot find out, I'm cool with that. Do you know we cannot reach there in our lifetime? So who gives a shit anyway? Right? You know what I mean? You're going too fucking bad to the background radiation, right? Who cares? Yeah. 2 weeks ago, Sydney, we watched a fucking video on how far the universe is. Are you for fucking real? Not you. You know what I mean, right? The cosmos is so fucking big.
I'd love to play.
Right?
I'd love you to play
and
that.
You got 2 or 3 idiots worrying about God or a supernatural entity.
Right.
I'm not even entertaining that.
Of course not.
Right? Because they've got 0 tools.
It's a claim.
Or tell like 1 tool, philosophy.
Hello, Boris.
Yeah. So Boris joined, and I have to go. So we have another talker.
Okay.
Thank you for your talk.
Thanks
you
for
guys.
going, Peel.
Thanks for
Yeah.
going, Pio.
Yeah. Shut the fuck up and have a good night.
Good night, Pio.
Yeah, go away,
Good
go
night.
away. Goodbye.
Welcome,
you are.
Boris. You unmuted enough just to spit at Pio.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, well there you go.
All right, I hate to do this, but I'm going to split out here too.
Okay. Oh, Jason, thanks for coming by.
Yeah, it was nice chatting with you. It was an interesting topic. Glad I had the opportunity to chat with you guys. So
Yeah, come back
and
anytime.
I'll see. I see. Looking out for number one. I've been on a few streams with him, so I'm
Cool.
sure I'll be on there with you somewhere else. So
It's okay, it's okay. All good, all good, all good, all
Yeah,
good, all
yeah,
good.
it's good
Oh,
seeing
wait,
you
by the way,
guys.
I'm
Yeah.
ignorant in this subject, right? But I don't like people that has got a unreasonable study, like Bible studies, and trying to convince me. You know what I mean? I'm not that fucking naive. Yeah, I've got the skill sets, so I have to humble myself with that. Do you understand what I mean? Right? I cannot touch the subject that you know, right? The same as the skill set that I've got in a particular manner, right? Yeah. So that's it. And what the religious, well, fuck it, doesn't matter. Go, Jason. Go, Jason.
Yeah.
Go, Jason.
No, I really appreciate that, and I always enjoy having reasonable discussions with people, regardless of what level of expertise they have in particular topics. If you're reasonable and have good conversations, I always enjoy
Right.
that. So I
Right.
always like being on a stream with you. So
Right.
Well, you're welcome to
And
come
you
back anytime, Jason. It was a
yeah,
pleasure having
right,
you.
yeah, right on, Sydney. Yeah,
But you know what? You're still infidel, right? You know that.
I'm an infidel. I'll take it. You know, I'm okay with that. So,
Yeah, yeah.
see ya.
Bye.
Peace out. It's just you and me, babe.
There you are. Oh, good.
How much of it did you catch? I was kind of in and out for most of it when I was.
I don't know. I was finishing a meal or whatever. Yeah. And I was trying to see what I had in my last shitty video, 5-minute thing, right? And I saw you. You go, hold on, let me eyeball this, right? Because I finished eating or whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they were talking about philosophy. No, I need to poke my nose there. I need to poke my nose there. I'm trying to say philosophy is shit in the sense of it has its value. Try to convince, or not convince, try to make sense,
Yeah.
right, of the studies of the scientists, right? Yeah, but that's it. Don't when a philosopher cannot touch the realms of science. That's it's like saying get your foot out of my fucking house, right? Yeah, let me do what I know how to do things. You explain it, and that's it. That's how I see philosophy. It's just a convincing tool, not a tool for discovery of the natural world.
Yeah.
That's it. It's just
I just cannot understand why I'm considering this a failure of a broadcast on my part, because I cannot understand how anybody, even especially a scientist, could claim that there are other answers out there beside that science can't explain. In other words, there could be a supernatural realm, there could be metaphysical side somewhere, who knows what, but it's all, to me, it doesn't hold water. It's all impossible. I don't understand how Jason and every other and most other atheists who come in here refuse to state outright that God is impossible, that a creator God is absolutely 100% impossible, because that's my position, and I can't see how anyone can take a different position.
to if you want, I can mold myself to be the devil's advocate, and they will say that they haven't got the tools to negate it, right?
Which means
Because
nothing.
No, it means they cannot test it. It's like a mechanic without tools. He cannot say, "Oh, I cannot test this engine to see if it's good or bad." Right? The problem is metaphysics. The problem is testing something that is highly
No, it's
probable.
impossible. You can't test. Listen, if you accept that it's
Correct,
impossible
correct,
to
because
exist,
correct,
you can understand why
correct.
you can't test it.
No, I'm agreeing with you, but it's like trying to put yourself in their shoes, right? I'm with you